What is going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 134. I'm actually wearing the shirt from that fucking
Really?
picture, dude. I must have worn that's a pretty new picture too, so I guess I need to fucking
Isn't that funny? Like for the podcast and stuff, you kind of like, because we do so many episodes, you're like, well, I got to mix it up a bunch. I don't want to like wear the same one. And this one I've worn a couple times, like this funny necrophagus one. I've worn
yeah.
it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, I'm trying not to like be the same shirt every time. It's like
I
a
don't
fucking.
I can't keep track of all the episodes now, dude. I just said episode 134. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I'm wearing a shirt that I just wore recently because I think that joke's pretty fucking new.
Probably
So
about a month ago. I think it was a month ago.
all right, so maybe I need to put this one away for a little bit. The
You're allowed to
holy
do your
month.
laundry and fucking wearing a shirt within a month, so that's all good.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm Anthony. What's going on, guys? Anthony Shrapney, your host as always, and I am joined by a couple of resident homies. I got Casey Howard and Joel Horner with me tonight. What up?
Yo.
And the professor we're missing because he's out on tour. We're gonna plug where he's gonna be soon. Is that a full scale that they're doing, or is it 2
It
weeks?
seemed like it
What
was
is
like, it seemed like, yeah, maybe 2 weeks, like 10 dates, I think. It didn't look like a full, like the flyer didn't look full. You know what I mean?
So we might have the professor back next episode. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's start off with our regular plugs as always on the top, battleforgecoffee.com. Oh, tonight I usually say we're joined by somebody and it's a homie, so I'm like, oh dude, I'm just leaving him in the background. Sorry, dude. I'm really happy tonight. This was a guy that it was on my list for a while, and it just so happens we hadn't talked in a while. I saw him comment on some shit on social media, and I was like, oh dude, Zach, dude, of course, dude, he needs to be on. So I hit him up, and Zach Gibson, thank you so much for being with us tonight, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I was just saying pre-pod that you're in the upper tier of drummers for me for shit almost 20 years, dude. I mean, that Gutrot split was 2004, right?
Yeah, yep.
That's crazy, dude. So we'll get into all that, but dude, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm sure a lot of people who are fans of this show are stoked to hear your story, dude. So
Hell yeah, I'm stoked to tell it. I've never really had like an open discussion like this about just how I got into music and how all this shit started for me. So
perfect, dude. I can't wait to hear it, dude. No doubt. All right, let's do the plugs things as fast as I can, dude. Battleforgecoffee.com. That's the homies in Deeds of Flesh. They started this company a while ago, and Casey is knocking this shit over as he's trying to advertise. But he's rocking the Battleforge coffee swag. Oh, he literally said bye-bye.
You just do the ad.
But you saw his shirt. If you're watching this,
Oh shit! Oh no, his backdrop just fell down.
No, I know. He got up and he knocked that over, and that's why I was like, as he's advertising the shit.
He had the shirt on too. He had the. Sorry, I'll do that thing. I was just posting online about it. So Battleforge Coffee.
Yep, that's the homies. They started a coffee company. It is quality coffee. If you heard our last episode, I kind of went a little crazy on coffee in the beginning, but so that should tell you that I know coffee and they make quality coffee. Please, that'd be awesome if you go over there and check out all their stuff. They got coffee, they got shirts, they got mugs, they got crazy shit, they got subscriptions, they got all that stuff for you guys. I know there's so many coffee companies out there, but why not support the real underground death metal dudes that are literally putting in mad hours to find quality coffee? Like, it's not just they're not just buying some bullshit and throwing a label on it. It's real shit, dude.
100% club.
Go support those guys there. Cali, what's up?
The coffee super strong. It's good.
Yeah, dude. It's
lights
definitely
you up.
Great stuff, dude. Really is. CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com is where you can put some money in the show's pocket. Couple of different t-shirt designs that we've had there for a while. Full color zombie Cali Death podcast themed shirt. And then you got the logo style. Just get on there and find something that you like, dude. That put some money into the show's pocket. Literally, we're not making money off of this thing. We just want to keep making cool shit to put out for you guys. So that's where that money's coming from. I literally have to just zone out and maybe stare at the corner of the screen while these things happen because you guys
we're on like episode 134 and we're like in the ads again. We're like, fuck, we got this click shit or something. Like we're all ADD. It was like,
I know it's gotten longer and longer, and then we're talking even today more about more possible future ads now too. So I got to figure out. We might have to do these things on a separate thing and just
it's just like a video, just like a video of them, a part of like the intro or something. Yeah,
right. Yeah, dude. But I mean, that's a cool thing. I mean, multiple advertisers want to be on the show. That's rad, dude.
Oh yeah.
All right. There's a bunch of tours and shit going on.
Well, what is it? Where's Joseph tonight? Where is he?
Yeah.
He is.
Don't ask me. I don't have my glasses 15th?
on. He's in Nashville, Tennessee. So tomorrow he'll be in Evansville, Tennessee, at Lamb's Head?
Squinting.
Lamb's Head? Yeah, we probably should get a higher quality flyer. It's all good.
It's a really cool choice on that flyer you can do.
But no, it looks like they're having fun. I'm watching his stories and stuff, and I'm watching all the band member stories on the road, and they're hitting like, they're doing like the Buc-ee's and like hitting all the spots and having, tour stuff and truck stops and taking dumps everywhere. And it looks like it's like classic tour fun.
The professor's posts definitely show that he's having fun, so that's all good, dude.
Like Niagara Falls and shit, right? Or shit like that, like all those kind of spots, those tour spots. So it looks like he's living it up, and I'm stoked for him.
Scootering around DC. I think he went by the White House and all that shit. So yeah, he's definitely doing the tourist shit, but that's what you got to do, dude. I mean, especially with the little tiny windows that we've all had in places that we've toured. You have these fantasies about what you want to do in all of these places that we have set up on these tours. It's like, I want to check out this, and that. And you really only get like 10-20% of your list.
Yep.
If you're lucky. If you're lucky.
I know, right?
Right.
There's a lot of I regret not seeing a lot of shit when I was out. Just fucked off or what,
Right.
Yeah, just like the tour lifestyle. Sometimes you go into a random town or a town that a bunch of people, and you play the show, and then you end up staying up till 2 a.m., which actually this kind of leads me into Casey talking about his night last night. But you end up staying up way later, and you end up like you're just all like, I just want to like fucking get ready to play the next day, and you kind of get stuck in a cycle sometimes, and you don't end up like. I've never done a tour like healthy. Like I've never from like no drinking. I'm gonna fucking eat right, and I'm gonna like see all the things. I want to sleep right. Like it's always just fucking chaos when I go. So that's something I regret about touring.
Mm-hmm. I agree, dude. I mean, it kind of gets lumped into vacation like realm for me in my brain.
Yeah,
I'm out on the road. There's responsibilities get zoned into just one little bubble.
Oh yeah, there's some
Justice on the podcast in the center now. Look at that.
What a professor.
Did they go to Canada? Looks kind of like Canadian. Yeah. Looks a little Canadian, like Toronto or something.
Just a couple of buildings like looks Canadian. And
actually, I just looked at the fucking flyer. He didn't go to Canada, anyways.
Not even. All right,
but Zach, do you have anything to plug or any like merch to?
I mean, I'm not really. I only have. I'm only doing Shock Narcotic right now. So there's like, the Big Cartel, Shock Narcotic, bigcartel.com, whatever the hell it is, and then if people feel inclined, there's the Shit Life Bandcamp that's up. That's got all the stuff that we've. Well, not everything that we have recorded, but all of our most recent. It's shitxlife.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
Those both those projects, Shock Narcotic and Shit Life, were new to me because I mean, we've been friends for a long time, but we haven't really been in touch for quite some years, and life happens, so you kind of stuff gets swept under the rug naturally, and once we got this thing going and we were going to have you on, I started digging into you again in this Shock Narcotic and Shit Life bands. Both. I mean, I've been grind for so long, dude. Like, I really truly am grindcore just as much as I am death metal, and both those projects really hit me in those feels,
Oh, thanks, man.
and I appreciate both of them. I mean, there's other aspects to it besides grind with Shock Narcotic, but that vibe that was being hit with both of those projects, I really was surprised, happy, and super stoked to talk about it on the show once it came to my attention.
Sick,
So,
man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. And of course, you're a fucking grind drummer, dude. I mean, from the beginning, dude. Like, I don't know if anybody who doesn't know who this guy is, and you're being introduced for the first time. My first introduction was 2004 with his band Gutrot. You did a split with, I can't even remember the other band because I was just so fixated on Gutrot. What was the other band?
Dysentery out of Boston.
Dysentery, which also very good band too, but your performance on that split, it solidified you as somebody that I just wanted to pay attention to from the beginning, dude. And when it comes to gravity blasting nowadays, I mean, everybody fucking does it, but and it's most of the time when you're hearing it, that shit is spiffed up a bit in the studio. But when you listen to the song named Incestual Rim Job,
yep.
That song, at the end of that song, I think it's like a 28-second gravity blast, that no editing, nothing. It's all
you can hear where it starts to, like, where it's you can hear the inconsistencies here and there,
totally. But that humanity aspect of it, and plus the fact that you never broke away from the snare in this one little part. What at the time in 2004 for me is like, that was just a very impact. It made a big impact on me for you as a player, hearing that at such a young age, getting into this extreme music, and I was like, this guy can fucking gravity blast like forever. That's how it felt like when you're listening to that. Anybody who's listening to this, go to that song, Gutrot and Dysentery split Incestual Rim Job at the very end of that song for like 25-30 seconds. This guy's just gravity blasting the whole fucking time, dude. And it just blew my mind. And that's not obviously the only trick you got in the bag, because you go down your fucking list of your resume, you just can see that Zach's a real player, dude. And that's why you're at the top of the list for me, dude.
Oh shit, man. I really appreciate that. There's
no doubt, dude.
I mean, there's so many dudes out right now that are just killing it, you know what I mean? And I've never really considered myself that great. I don't think any of us do, really. But when other people like tell you shit like that, it's cool, because I don't know, for me at least, I don't really view myself as like up there with everybody else. I'm still trying, you know what I mean?
I don't think any of us do, dude, but it does feel good when you hear somebody have a different perspective on your playing, and realize that you may have an impact, even if you have an impact on one other human.
Absolutely.
Just one other human that's like, I get it, dude. I get what you're doing. I understand it. I respect it. And I made a connection with it. It doesn't really matter after that, dude, because you're that's the whole point of like doing these things. Is it gonna am I gonna make something that will resonate with somebody at least close to as much as it did with me,
Right.
And so when somebody gives you your flowers about, you know, something that made an impact on them, then yeah, dude, if that I've said it so many fucking times on the show, dude, but it literally is like, we're never ever gonna, the guys who look at themselves as like the shit, we kind of like, we get like standoffish with those types of people. And I think the real, and I'm not calling myself a real artist, I'm just saying somebody who's been dabbling in art my whole life. I'm never gonna fully connect with I'm not gonna look at my stuff the way that other people do, you know. So I might look at a severed record, like I've said it on the show before. You know, Servile Insurrection is something that only recently I was able to see in a positive way on my performance. And so we're always going to have that, dude. And I think that that's set in place for people like us that are to continue making. You're going to stop making once you hit this like imaginary bullseye that we're trying to hit at the end of the thing.
I do notice, a lot of like metalheads, I mean, in the scene in general, and myself included, I just, it's one of those, whenever you get someone saying something really positive about you and stuff to your face, it's kind of like, you kind of freeze. You're like,
we've done it on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
People have given us comments and we don't know how to respond.
It's weird. The weirdest thing is like getting comments about the podcast, because I'm like, dude, I'm just getting drunk and talking to friends. Like, I don't really know. And I'll be like, oh, it's fucking, I love it. It's so fun. Like, you say funny stuff sometimes. I'm like, well, I don't even, sometimes I just think of these things that we just do it live and it's done, but it's like on a server forever and people are listening to it after I'm like, whoa, I don't even remember that. It was, I mean, I remember most of it, but I'm like Jesus, I don't remember even saying that. Well, thanks, man. Keep watching. I don't know. I don't really know. You know, it's
that's really all we can do, dude.
And there's a lot of people. I mean, I noticed most people in metal are like, thank you, I appreciate it, thank you. It's like, because it's hard to like, compliments are weird. They're a weird thing, you know. It's like having to like accept a compliment. You're like, because you're not really prepared for it. You're just kind of like,
and we have a different opinion about ourselves, like I was just getting. So we don't really agree with what they're saying, but at this, what makes it complicated, confusing, and a little awkward is that we have a response to it, but we don't want to shit on ourselves in the conversation, because you got somebody who's coming up and being like, oh, dude, blah, 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 blah. And you want to say, I don't agree with that, you know, but you don't want to
disagree with someone giving you a compliment. Like, I'm heavily disagreeing with you as a human right now.
And you're just like, I fucking think I sound like shit, blah, 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 blah. I remember this.
I've definitely done that before.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's probably
like played a shitty set and someone's like, dude, that was awesome. I'm like, no, it really wasn't. Thank you, but it wasn't. Like,
you get to a point where, I mean, you or anybody gets the feel of certain things too, and then again, we're talking perception. Somebody in the crowd who's just sitting there waiting for, you know, whatever band you're playing for, and they've been, you know, anticipating it all week, you know, listening to the records and all this kind of shit, and then they kind of like build this mental stage that they've made, you know. So even if you make a mistake, that might not register with them because they've put it so high up, building up to it, and it still sounds good enough to where it's like, holy shit, dude, we're fucking here and it's happening, dude, they're fucking doing it, you know.
Yeah,
they're not gonna miss the fucking popcorn that you did on the fucking doubles here. Fucking, you missed that ride, fucking, or that hi-hat stomp right there, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's being super hyper meticulous of yourself because you've done it a million times, and most people won't. Like, there's been times like we played that Maryland Death Fest thing where we train wrecked, and people were like, fuck yeah, dude, I didn't even notice you train wrecked. Really? You train wrecked? And I'm like they had no idea that we just totally like had our most like freak out, anxiety ridden set. They had no idea.
Biggest nightmare in Odious Mortem history, and for some reason nobody remembers it, and I fucking love that, dude. We're the only people that remember it, and we keep spreading it into the zeitgeist mentioning it on this show, but nobody else remembers it. So maybe if we just stop talking about it by 2025, nobody will even know, dude.
You know, someone's probably got it on tape somewhere. They're gonna be like, "Oh, they did? Let me look it up. Let me post it."
Oh, I'd
Just
love
like-
to see that, dude. That'd be great.
You know,
I
It's
wish I
long-
could find it.
just
I would
report it.
put it on the show like over and over again.
Oh, I know.
Caverns
It'd be
of
funny to put on the
Reason.
show.
Caverns of Reason is a fucked up song
Yeah.
to play, dude.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not gonna play that anymore. But
I love it though. I love
No.
that song so much.
but yeah, that'd be funny if you just like kind of reversed it on people, like if they like complimented you, like came up to you to show whatever, and you're just like, and they're like, you're so great, and you're just like, that guy, I know, like you're just like,
I know you said that. Imagine that reaction.
you're like, thanks, yeah, I'm totally aware or something stupid, like
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's you're stuck in that kind of middle ground of like,
and stuff.
if you had a
How
really
is
good set, just like I know I crushed it, right? People will be like, sick, dude. Well, I'm gonna go talk to the other guys.
No. How put off would you be if you did that with somebody and they're like, yeah, dude. So you're like, dude, that was really sick, dude. You're super sick. And then they're like, yeah, dude, I've been sick for about like 8.5 years now. Like I know exactly when I became sick, and then I've just been sick ever since, dude. They just know that they've been sick.
Ultimate douche move.
Metal doesn't really have much
Or-
of that, and that's what's cool about it.
It'd just be best to just be like super stressed out and like like, oh, you're great. You just get like mad at them, like, you don't know what you're talking about. I suck. And like get all mad. Like, I don't know. Stupid thoughts.
I don't know. Zach Andrew keeps wanting me to ask you who let you on the podcast with shoes on.
Oh shit.
This must be some sort of inside joke. He like messaged or put it on the comments, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even get it, dude.
Yeah, it's from the Boondocks. It's just something that we say to each other all the time when we see each other at shows and shit.
Okay.
We've just
Yeah,
been
yeah,
saying
yeah.
it for years.
Let me adjust my mic real quick.
Uncle Ruckus, no relation,
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Well, fuck yeah, dude. Casey, you went to see Cynic yesterday, right? Cynic and Atheist with David, our old guitar player from Odious and stuff, was doing his little Jesus, it's fucking, that's such balls to just like do a different style of music in front of a bunch of metalheads and
Yeah,
stuff.
that
I
were
remember he was
expecting
kind
metal.
of he was calling me going like, I don't know, I'm freaking out, but Paul really is like wanting me to do it. And so Casey kind of gave us the play-by-play a little bit on the group text, but how was it actually? I haven't talked to you since then.
Yeah, man. It was super fun. Yeah, we got there pretty early in the San Diego show. Yeah, and we were like met everybody and like the new people and Atheists and all the like musicians, everyone. It was rad. Watched him sound check, and then David, I helped him set up and do all that. But yeah, basically they wanted an opener for the show. He was the only opener, and Paul wanted something totally different outside the box. It wasn't just like a local band. He was like kind of just wanting something, unique.
Like not straight metal.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so he like heard, I guess they were hanging out one night and David was like showing him all this crazy like drum and bass sound stuff that he does and like sound effects, and it's like all super weird and dark and stuff, and Paul was really into it. So yeah, he asked him to come on and do that like as the opening act for this metal show. It was pretty cool. And so it was like unclear like how the reaction was going to be, David was super nervous about that part of it, just kind of like, I don't know if people are going to like be super not down or whatever. But he put together a set that was really cool. It was like super just like intense and heavy and dark and like super fast drumming. And I put a video up on my YouTube channel that's like the main, or it's all the footage really that I kind of spliced together into like a thing. But
yeah, I only saw the clip,
yeah.
the clip that you showed, and
yeah,
I mean, David introduced me to technical electronic music,
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing until David. Yeah.
And he showed me some really, really shit that's no different than listening to the most technical, crazy death metal drummers out there. There's even a mix that by Sound Murderer that he showed me that literally there's double bass and fucking blast beats and shit in there.
Yeah.
But it's
Detroit, isn't he?
What's that?
That dude's from Detroit, isn't he? Sound Murderer.
He might be.
Warbreaker.
No, I know, but I'm talking about he's asking about the
okay.
mix that I just
Gotcha.
brought up. Yeah. So Warbreaker's the homie David Siskin, who used to be in Odious. He was founding original guitar player with Casey and Dan. And after or even during Odious, he's always been spinning drum and bass and jungle and weird shit. And
nice.
After he left Odious, he he kept going with it and was Warbreaker very early. I mean, Warbreaker has been his moniker for a very, very long time.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Always thought it was so sick. I love that name, Warbreaker.
He has like a radio show
because he's all about break beats.
He has a radio show. What's the radio? How do you?
It's not hard then. I'm like super down with shit like that.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Breakcore, dude. That's my
shit. Hell yeah. No, he's been doing it for like
awesome.
a lot, like years. Like he used to put on a lot of shows at this place, multiple places, but it's
SF Underground.
Yeah, Underground SF.
Underground SF,
Underground SF or whatever.
Underground SF,
I used to watch him.
And,
I used to
and
go
on
watch
8th
him in
Street.
basements and fucking him. Yeah, he's always been sick, dude.
He used
So,
to, was on shows and fly guys out from London and stuff. All these
Remark is one of the dudes that he turned me on to as well. But yeah, David is fucking super quality. Very respect. I respect him. I respect everything that he does. He's a very smart, very calculated musician. Always got my props.
Yeah, and just the last thing I'd say is it was really cool seeing
Murray.
What up?
Yeah, sorry.
Of course I do.
How do you forget Murray?
Uncle Murray, man.
Yeah, Uncle Murray. Yeah. I like Uncle Murray. It's like we have our dad. It's Mike Hamilton. This is our death metal dad. Then we have Uncle Murray.
Totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we should like assign family members to like all of our like the like people that were before us that kind of like took us under their wing. You know?
Yeah.
Like cousin fucking Mike Gilbert. Fucking,
So Uncle Murray took me to my first strip club and bought me my first lap dance when we were in Montreal.
Sounds about
right up his alley. Yeah, right up his alley.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's awesome, man. He's all yep.
Montreal. So what's a Montreal strip club? So is there any difference internationally? Is it change when you go elsewhere? Is it always just titties and ass, dude?
I can't remember if it was full nudity or not, but like I know when you got your lap dances, like they didn't care like if you touched them.
Oh yeah, that's the thing in America, right? It's like there's like
keep your hands
like space rules or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's actually crazy, dude.
Sick Drummer has a question. Have you ever been on Sick Drummer? Have they ever featured you? That's what Ian's asking.
Yeah. Guaranteed he has.
They have? Nope.
What?
Well, there you go, Ian. What the fuck are you doing, dude?
like I was saying earlier, there's like so many other better drummers than me. So
no,
don't go down that road.
I mean, like, literally,
I'm not good enough. Well, it's all good. No, you're fucking sick, man.
At some point, yeah, sure, but there's way better than me.
Yeah, he's like, get the fuck out.
You're gonna tell me that Shock Narcotic is the only thing you're repping right now? You're like, but I'm not that relevant, dude. I literally was blown away by the aggression and like the pummeling aspects of that band. I love to take a beating in my ears. I love to take a beating in my brain when I'm going in like grind style, and it's just like caveman fucking. That's how I get it. I get like caveman when I listen to grind,
Oh yeah.
And it's just the mix, the aggression, all that stuff. It's hitting me in like the physical, like underbelly of like I'm just like getting hit on the base levels when I'm listening to that. So please, again, once we move forward, you're on the top, dude. You're in the Cali death realm right now. So let's not do the I'm not good enough thing, because you are, dude. Not only are you, but me and Dan even talked about it for like the last 2 days, dude. Dan Kenny, dude. Shout out Dan Kenny, dude. We were talking last couple of days. I told him that I'm having you on, dude. He was super excited. So this will probably be like one of the like 3 episodes he listens to.
Right on. Yeah, I love Dan. Me and him did our first tour together.
I know, isn't that's how far this all goes back, dude. So that's super cool that we finally cross paths again, got on each other's levels, and we're doing this thing, dude. And it's been a little bit, but I want to get into you specifically. Did we leave anything unfinished right there in that conversation? If we did, I'm sorry.
I think
we're good. All right. So Zach, I want to get into you, bro. I want to get into childhood. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? And what type of art or music were you being introduced to early on? Like earliest memory you could think of, that kind of stuff.
Well, I was born where I live right now in Woodhaven, Michigan. I'm about 20 minutes south of Detroit and 40 minutes north of the Michigan-Ohio border.
Mm-hmm.
I lived here
real quick before. What's it like staying in your hometown up until this point? Like,
it's I don't know.
I mean, it's basically I'm feeling the same way. I'm about to finally, like, I've been saying it on the show for a long time. I'm moving, but I'm still in this like limbo area where I'm still staying in my hometown, but I'm technically moving out of it. So I'm like, I'm feeling like the vibes of, shit, man, I'm leaving my place, you know, that I've been my whole life. So have you ever felt like you were going to be leaving out of that place and those same kind of feelings were happening?
No, not really. Like I lived here for like the first 5 years of my life, and then we moved to like a couple of cities over, and that's where I lived for the next, like, I think it was like 11 years. When I was like 16, my parents split up, and then we moved back down here, me and my mom.
Mm-hmm. So up until high school, what was like the music situation or art situation?
Well, the early years, like my family pretty much like rock and roll and Motown. I remember like my mom always listening to like Al Green or the Temptations and stuff while she was cleaning the house.
Yeah.
She's also a huge Aerosmith fan. My uncle Mickey, who just passed away last month, he's a huge Kiss fan. So the rock and roll has always very much like been there.
That's your mom's brother?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
I had so far you're hitting 2 marks with me with Motown and having your mom's brother be somebody who's feeding you rock and roll. That's the 2 main things that I would say in this interview if somebody was asked me that question. So that's crazy. But yeah. All right, so the uncle with the rock and roll, how old were you when he was you were getting influence from him?
The earliest that I can remember is probably like 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. And the Motown was just as heavy.
Yeah, that's usually always what my mom was jamming when she would clean the house and stuff.
Hell yeah.
So I just distinctly like remember that,
Mm-hmm.
It was just loud. I didn't really appreciate it so much back then, but as I got older.
Right. Me too, dude. I definitely can feel that, like they're playing it too much, but at the same time, I didn't realize, like, once I get older, I'd really want to actually listen to it on my own constantly. Like, I love listening to 50s music, dude.
Right.
Do you listen to those like Motown songs? Do songs come on and stuff? And because I know my mom was listening to like the Tears for Fears and kind of like that kind of style, like Sade or Sade, and like things like that. And sometimes those songs come on again, and I feel like I'm in the living room and I'm 5 years old again. Like I get like shot back to the living room. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's the nostalgia that like those songs bring. And I don't. It's it's not something I search for on to go listen to, but when it comes on, it kind of just shoots me back like that tunnel back to childhood.
For sure, dude. When I hear Peter Cetera, the album that he had when he had the Karate Kid song, my mom would fucking listen to that shit all the fucking time in her T-Bird, dude. So anytime I listen to that album, I'm transported back to the back seat of that T-Bird, like driving to school or some shit, and we're listening to The Power of Love, dude,
Yeah.
But I love it,
Power
dude.
of Love. That's right.
Yeah.
I always thought that was Huey Lewis.
Well, no, it's true. There's two hits that
Okay.
are called the same thing.
Okay.
Glory of Love.
Glory of Love. Excuse me. Sorry. Of course, I get something wrong. But yeah, or the Power of Love. I'd probably still be in that same car, same era. That's
The Power of Glove, dude. That should have been. They should have for like the Nintendo Power Glove. They should have been like the Power of Glove. Like,
dude, where were you back then when they were?
I know. I was like 5.
Writing room.
I was fucking around.
I think my first favorite song as a little kid was Highway to the Danger Zone. I was like,
oh, dude, me too. That was mine. I have a picture of me with a guitar with a Top Gun hat on and like a Top Gun shirt on, and it's like that was like as a kid, like jets and shit. Like
that vocal melody of that hook is Highway to the Danger Zone. You're like, dude, you're fucking all over that as a kid.
And even just the intro, the guitar intro, the have you ever watched that like video from the guy from the 80s that like does that song and he just starts shredding in the middle of it? Like the actual, you never hear that in the movie, but he just like starts Steve Vai shredding like in the middle of it. But like for the song, you only hear the chorus, but like or for the movie, you only hear the chorus, but in the middle of that song, it's like if you just type in Top Gun theme and just fucking Google it, it'll just come with this guy with like the huge hair, 80s hair, and just like fucking shredding with like a piano behind him, and he just fucking
Great America so when it was top. What was it called? It was
the top. There's a Top Gun ride there.
Yeah, but it wasn't called Flight. It's called Flight Deck now, but it used to be called something else. But yeah, that's the song that you would hear in line. The whole time, dude. And you're just like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm getting on a Top Gun roller coaster right now, dude. my feet are gonna be hanging, dude.
But anyways, so I was getting back to the nostalgia. Yeah, the parents' music back when you were a kid and stuff. It's still just kind of shocks you. You know, like you'll be like, oh, it's that song, and then you're driving and it's on the radio or something. You're like, oh fuck, yeah. When my mom's doing the laundry now, or,
you start to
like
smell weird things. It's like your smell changes and everything, dude.
It's a trip, dude.
It does really fucking fuck with your mind. But I mean, even with smell too. But let's not get into that because I've already
farts and stuff.
Taken us into the weed. Yeah, farts will definitely take me back to what I ate previously.
Burps.
Yeah, burps and farts are kind of like a
more recent meals and
recent nostalgia. Oh man.
All right, so now you said 4 was the uncle influence, mom influence, and all that stuff. But talk about a song or a group that you literally can pinpoint a moment where something clicked with you while you're listening to them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It is, man. Because like back, like I really only remember like famous stuff kind of from back then.
That's all good.
No, like just from when I was like younger, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't necessarily like I wasn't like checking out albums yet, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like I don't know, like seeing like Metallica, like seeing that on like MTV. Like maybe that I think. Was
your uncle into stuff that heavy too?
I do believe my uncle Mickey did like Metallica. I'm not sure if he was into the like the older stuff. I know for sure like he had the Black Album. He like dubbed that tape for me.
Nice.
Later on down the road, yeah.
Yeah, I had the Black Album cassette tape my brother got me with like Suffocation on the other side. Because he's all into death metal. He's a little stall. Here you go, bro. Here's Enter Sandman, you little softy. Like you're listening to fucking Bush and Smashing Pumpkins right now. Here's Metallica, and then when you're ready to flip it over. And then I remember fucking it just got like I was just getting into the death metal side of it, and then fucking tape player ate it, like getting tapes eaten back in the day.
That was like, the universe saying you're not ready, dude. Just because you listen to
I wasn't.
Doesn't mean your brain's ready for stuff.
Yeah. It was kind of like show off stuff to me. It wasn't like because it was so over the top that I was like showing friends. It was like junior high school where I'm like listening to fucking you know, I have like a No Doubt CD, a Smash Mouth CD, or not Smash Mouth, the fucking Bush CD. Like, you know, I had like some old classic rock stuff. That's what, because my dad listened to that constantly. So, and then I had a Suffocation like thing that would be like, check this out, dude. And they'd be like, what the fuck are you even playing? Like, because we're used to like our brains are programmed for like the pop kind of thing, you know, like the chord progressions and the pop stuff. But,
I'll
like,
still back Tragic Kingdom though. That album's dope.
I mean, yeah, same thing. Nostalgia. I know I'm thinking of a room in a living room right now where I listen to that. You know, it's like just brings me right back to junior high over in a certain house in Aptos. Like, it's crazy.
All right, so Zach, when did you get to an age where whatever came first, you wanted to start playing music, or you met other like-minded people in school that might be musicians or anything like that? Like, when did you decide you wanted to play?
I think like around I was like 8 or 9.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, so my Aunt Sue bought me a drum set, like a little kid's drum set, when I was like 3 years old. So that was like, I guess that was like the, you know, that was like the seed that started the whole thing or whatever. But as far as like wanting to actually like pursue music or like, you know, take it seriously, I think I was like 8 or 9. That's when I was like really just wanted to immerse myself in playing drums and just listening to music and just being around it all the time, you know.
So
were you taking lessons? Did you get lessons or anything, or were you just kind of learning covers and stuff like that? Or
no, earlier on, like I just started. It's weird, man. I just taught myself how to play by air drumming. I did try to take lessons like later on when I was 13. This kid that I was jamming with, his uncle was giving drum lessons at the music store in the mall, and I wanted to learn how to read music. I didn't really want to go to learn how to play. I knew how to play. I was open to like learning things, but I really just wanted to learn how to read music, and that didn't really work out.
Yeah.
I'm like dyslexic as fuck. I can't count when I play or anything.
yeah. I mean, do you think you're jumping too far ahead? Maybe like you're just trying to get into music and play songs at first. It's like the same thing happened to me. Is like, oh, take lessons, and then they just shoved the theory down my throat in the beginning, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just play a Slayer song and learn that. You know, I'm like, you know, just like I want like instant gratification, and then you kind of want that. Was they trying to give you like unfun things to learn in the beginning, or what was going on?
Oh no, not at all. He was actually, he taught me a lot of really cool stuff. The stuff that he was trying to get me to learn though, you know, obviously like rudiments were one of the things, and at that time I was definitely like, fuck this, you know what I mean? I want to play.
Yeah.
But as far as like songs to learn and stuff, like he gave me some good ones, like Tom Sawyer by Rush.
Oh damn.
But he was like a huge Rush fan too. And it wasn't necessarily like, you know, you need to learn this like note for note or anything like that. He was just like, you know, check this out. And it was more to try and like learn how to read the tab, because he gave me a drum tab with it.
So you said you're kind of dyslexic. So reading, did that ever get pushed along in something that you were like using in the future, or has that kind of just been kind of constant?
No, never. No, I like once I had tried it earlier on, it wasn't sticking at all, you know. So I was like, whatever.
So you've never like fucked around with like click tracks or any of that stuff, because that would probably, I mean, or click tracks are audio though. You're talking about like visual, so maybe click tracks would probably be different for you.
Oh yeah, I played a click. I've played the click before.
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of it, but you know.
Yeah.
That's because that was just introduced way later on. I was already like in my own track, you know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. So you took those lessons. Yeah, go ahead.
The first time I ever had to play to it was while I was recording Miasma.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like that was literally the first time I ever had to play to it.
So before, like pre that, so was Gutrot was like 2003, 2004? What was that?
We started in 2003.
Okay. So how did that so you went from the drum lessons, you probably messed around, jammed with other people and stuff, and how did you end up
Yeah, let's
like
talk about
before.
bands before Gutrot, if there were any,
Yeah.
and how that stuff.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
few. The like I said, the dude that I was taking drum lessons from, his nephew was the first kid that I was like ever in a band with, and
Nice.
with that stuff, I think we tried to write one song, but that kid mostly just wanted to do covers of like Korn and Slipknot and just like new metal shit. That's
What
like
year is this?
90, 97,
Okay.
98. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. So you're just doing covers and stuff like that, and getting the rhythm down with the other humans and stuff, and before you move on to writing your own songs.
Yeah.
So when did you start? When was the first time you guys as a band collectively started writing your own music?
Well, with that, we never really reached that point. The song. I mean, I guess the song that we did write, it was pretty much it. It ended up being "Freak on a Leash." Inadvertently, though, you know what I mean? Because like that's all that kid listened to, and that's just what he wanted to do, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Which was cool because that's what I was into back then, but I didn't necessarily like want to just be that out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do other shit. I didn't want to sound exactly like another band.
So if you're saying you're into that at that age, then I'm going to guess that you're probably 30, 38, 37, 36.
I'll be 38 this year. Yes, I'm 37.
Okay, because you're like right in the
we
pocket
have a
of like
little window, dude.
Yeah, to me it's kind of a theory with me, but that's been proven wrong a bunch of times. Like
both of us, dude. I think we're almost
the window between
it's
like 36 and 39 right now. Like that you were kind of then you had to go through
if you're 40 right now, you missed.
Yeah, Casey missed it, but Casey did it with punk. That was like kind of where his like connection was starting off.
And grunge,
we did it with and grunge, and I did grunge too. But the new metal thing was like so appealing at fucking 14, 15 years old. Like because you know it's kind of I was kind of like I was a little loner back in the day, so it was kind of just perfect music for being a loner. You know, it was like perfect for just being like, you know what, fuck them. I don't know, you know, like you know, it's kind of one of those kind of fuck everything.
We were destined to be friends, dude. And we were doing the same thing, dude.
And I'm really sad actually now. I didn't do it, but I mean, obviously I didn't do it. That's why I'm sad. But the Sick New World thing in Vegas, like that whole with all those like old new metal bands that I used to listen to when I was a kid on the school bus, like they all just got together and played, and I looked at the price. I'm like $375. I'm not going to that. And I was like, then I was like, oh, whatever. I'll get a a resale for $550. A used ticket. It's not used because they didn't go, but
they went.
No, I literally saw all the videos from that, and I'm like, God damn. I mean, the one thing that turned me off from it is that it was all in one day. It's like that huge flyer of 1 million bands was all one day. It wasn't like a 3-day fest. It was like 4 stages going at the same time. So you'd have to like really plan.
Zigzag.
And it was like and I was you know, a big open outdoor fest in Vegas. I'm still a little worried about since, you know, Vegas doesn't have the best track record with outdoor festivals and violence. So I was a little like, I might, you know, I'll just go and wait. But then I saw it and was like, fuck, dude, it's like nostalgia just left and right, like constant nostalgia, like, and yeah, fucking I wish
if
I would have gone
cool like that comes up again for you and I in the new metal realm, then we'll just say fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, next year they'll probably do it because it sold out immediately. It was that $350 a ticket sold out like in like a week or two.
So much money,
and it was like 15,000 people, 20,000 people paying that much. And people were like, the funny part about it to me is seeing a lot of my friends' videos and stuff that they're posting on their stories or whatever, is that people were dressing of the era just to show up.
I'm waiting for Jinkos and fucking
I was seeing people and I was like, I could tell they were like more metal now, but they were just like, fuck it, dude. It's like going to a country concert, which I'm going to one in 2 weeks with my fiance, and I was like, I'm down just to go see music live. So and it's brews and boots and brews or something. I'm like, I get to just get drunk and watch. I'll watch any music.
Boots?
I don't know, dude. I think I walk a little bit like out Toad.
The fact that you might is
I think boots would look funky.
Dude.
No, I can't do that, dude. I want to be comfortable. It's a big festival. I'm like, I'm gonna wear fucking
If
like
you
wooden
do,
heels.
still wear the shorts and the black socks up to your knees.
I'm halfway between doing like a country outfit and doing like an extreme like gross death metal outfit, and just watching people's faces.
And
it's
then
like
you just realize you just did it like a David Vincent.
I was just thinking the David Vincent.
and a reverse David Vincent.
Hey, Dave, we'd love to have you on the show, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, let's get back on to Zach. All right,
Yeah, so you went through the new metal thing, the whole. So back to that, you went through
so
that phase.
that kind of got to a stagnant place. Where were you? What happened with that? Did it dissolve? You went on to another thing. What happened?
Slipknot happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like that was pretty much the end
Yeah,
of that was the end of new metal, basically.
Right.
That was the period of the exclamation point at the end of new metal.
They kind of just like stopped it from
They're like, how about blast beats? And people were like, this is crazier than everything else, and you guys are doing masks and kind of being in the new metal vibe, but you guys just like it's that band. It's like Nirvana to fucking Motley Crue or something. It's like
it's a Trojan
like, all right, this
horse.
is over. Yeah.
Dude, that's
it was a
so
Trojan
crazy.
horse.
If I think about it the way that I've always thought about with like software and all that shit, you know, like Slipknot came in with a Trojan horse little fucking
snuck in growling and blast beats.
And isn't there a Trojan virus? Boom. It gets in there and they rewired a bunch of new metal kids to instead of continuously following corn riffs.
Yeah, the Trojan horse is like a big new metal band.
Morbid Angel over here, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Trojan horse, like the actual wooden Trojan horse is a new metal band. It's like Korn. And then Slipknot jumps out. They're like, and people are like, it's like, oh shit, this is like fucking. But then you were like,
I think we're onto something, dude.
It was catchy and it still had the catchiness to it, but it was faster and it was more aggressive. It was more pissed, and that's kind of what Zach was kind of getting at. It's like that was like the band that kind of just like, all right. I think they ended new metal. I think
like after that there was like really no other. I mean, in my opinion, you know, I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but like there was really no other new metal bands like worth listening to.
Exactly.
Anything that I had heard in that vein, like after that, it was just like, fuck this, you know.
I mean,
what
you just said
like,
vein, so I just got to mention Mudvayne, but I'll say LD50.
LD50 was sick.
Slipknot was like the top.
Yeah, those are the two that kind of like ended new metal, kind of. But I think Mudvayne was more into new metal, and just like Slipknot just came up and was like, all right, fucking
yeah.
Let's see, Jed's like he's like 45 years old, so of course he doesn't like new metal. It goes with my theory.
Right? Yeah, but what about? I think Tim Young likes new metal. Like he likes Slipknot a lot. I think he.
Okay.
He's in his 40s, right? Tim's.
He probably like playing.
Not at least like the drums from Slipknot, you know. Like,
yeah.
For sure.
And he looked probably like, I mean, for him too, like when Joey quit, I'm sure he was in the running. Like I'm 100% sure. I actually remember him almost talking about it or something.
He did talk about that with him, that he'd be like perfect for Slipknot or something.
Yeah, because he's got the Joey Jordison hair and like he's got the same build. He could just put on the same mask and people would be like, oh, it's Joey still. You know,
I joked around about trying out.
Yeah. No, I had all my friends when like the more, you know, big band friends when Paul Gray passed away, unfortunately. But I was like, hook me up with a tryout. I just want to try out. Like it'd be funny to like, I mean, fun. It'd be a cool memory to go play a song with them. You know, like it's like one of the Metallica tryouts. Like when that video of like all these bass players from all these bands at the time, like trying out, like that's just to be on that video or to be on that, just like look around this like super professional band and like fucking have to play with them. I could see why you wanted to try out for Slipknot. That's exactly kind of the same vein. Tim does look 18, Murray. That's very true. Tim's like way older.
Looks 18.
So that kind of works with my theory too. He looks like kind of my age, but he's like, you know, 5 or 6 years older. I don't know. I don't look 18. Anyways.
So then Slipknot happens and you're like, all right, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what do I do now?
Where you go from there? And like the obvious answer is like grindcore, death metal, black metal, just everything fast and heavy, extreme music, you know. And yeah, that's.
Can you remember some of the first extreme stuff you had been
Oh yeah,
exposed to?
absolutely. There was this Canadian radio station that used to come on Sunday nights from like 10 to midnight, and I don't remember how I stumbled upon it. I was just like flipping through the channels, and I heard like a bunch of just noise
Yeah.
and shit. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm trying to get it to come in a little, and I'm pretty sure the first song that I had heard on that station was "We Bleed" by Cryptopsy.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, cool. And then he played like Fist Fucking God's Planet by Marduk.
Okay.
This dude played all kinds of shit. This is how I got into like the death metal and like everything extreme.
A guy who's already seasoned enough to give you a nice variety.
Oh yeah,
a real taste of all the.
He played like everything, man. Like Viking metal, fucking like symphonic metal. He was all over the place.
That's rad, dude.
The one thing that I remember the most of, he played a chunk of Pig Destroyer, Prowler in the Yard.
Ooh,
oh yeah.
And like when I heard that, I was like, "What the fuck, dude? Like I gotta start playing drums like that." That's one of the albums that made me like want to start playing blast beats.
That was a key album for me too, dude. Like the aggression and technicality. If you really think about it, when it comes to grindcore, not a lot of people are getting that tight and technical. And I didn't even realize it at the time, because that was my first being exposed to Pig Destroyer. But all the influences of non-grindcore stuff that really gets in there once you expand your palette when it comes to metal and extreme music. Prowler in the Yard, dude, 100%. It was a key moment for me.
You know what got me into them was that video. I don't even know. It might have been pre-YouTube, but I remember me and Derek Rickwist, the faceless singer and stuff, Zenith Passage, which is killing it right now.
Hell yeah.
We saw this video that was
Agoraphobic Nosebleed?
No, it was him singing, but his mic broke.
I know exactly what.
And he was
fuck.
And he was yelling so loud that you could hear it. It's on probably YouTube somewhere, but you could hear him like with the music that's fucking turned up way too loud. You can hear his voice was so powerful that it was coming through still. And I was like, what the fuck? Like this guy. And that's when I was like, I already had the CD because I was buying CDs like crazy at that time.
Shout out J.R. Hayes, dude.
Yeah, I was fucking just like that performance is actually to me one of the more legendary like grind performances I've ever seen, where he's just literally screams,
sacrificing himself in that moment. You could see that he's like putting so much energy into still like being heard after the mic is broken, that he's brought to his knees basically while he was doing it. It's very powerful. It may not, if you showed it to the person, a person that's not part of this realm, it wouldn't really mean much other than seeing a guy scream at the ceiling. But when you're part of this thing and you understand that like there's real and there's fake, and J.R. Hayes is a real motherfucker, dude, because he's putting every single ounce of energy into still being heard during that song. And
exactly. I mean, that's to me, that's like it might be like a movie that you saw when you were a kid. I haven't seen it in so long, so it might be like a movie that you saw when you were a kid. You're like, that movie was so sick, and then you see it now, it's like, oh, I can't even hear him, dude. I can barely.
I would back it. I'll back it if you watched it right now. I bet you, dude. Fuck the copyright shit. Let's pull it up real quick, dude. I don't think there is any.
We don't have a Jamie, so
all right, maybe we'll have it. We'll have it like read. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Get it ready, and we'll talk about it in a bit. What up, dude? That was a new professor picture. All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Listeners, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Joseph just sent us this. It looks like he's hanging out with Naveen and Cheney.
Oh, yeah. What up?
Dude. Oh yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Love to have them back on the show, dude. It's been time,
dude. I mean, I've been talking to Cheney like because what's fucking Drake like posted about her,
and
fucking like We're just keeping that up.
Yeah, it's good.
Drake. All right, Drake posted about her, and I was like, and I just messaged her. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, yeah, dude. He's like messaged me a bunch and was like, well, what do you say? And she told me, I'm like, is Naveen down with that? No, he said something like, "It's like you're my angel" or something like that. It was no, I don't know. I don't want to misquote it, but he said like he was just like, "You're my fucking, you're the shit." Blah blah. Like just Drake, fucking completely like fucking fanboying on
She's
Chaney.
getting
I'm just
every
like,
ounce of
yeah, it's
accolades
insane.
that she should be getting. She's
Yeah, and I went and randomly like I looked after that happened. I went and looked at some of her like her videos that she was posting. And I was like, who do I in common know that like is liking and watching her video? And like it was like all these fucking like blue check mark fucking like Amigo the Devil, all these people I listened to like on the side, you know. And I was like, Jesus, dude, like
that's
fucking Shani, I need to get you know, if you don't like Zoom very much or this whole like platform, she likes in-person podcasts, you know, when they do the Copper Crab thing. I was like, fucking send them our way, dude. Like, I don't know, you know, like get some of those like random fucking metalheads. But I have that video real quick if you just wanted to throw it on real quick.
Let's do it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Just show everybody what we're talking
about. Tab audio.
We'll be quiet so you can see because he's fucking. I'll mute my shit because he's loud as fuck, dude.
No, I actually found the spot where the mic breaks.
Nice.
All right. So. Super new. Oh, damn.
That looks like you, Joel, from the side.
Like about to pass out almost. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's copyrighted. I don't think we're having trouble with that.
So
yeah, I know. It's like it says 16 years ago, posted 16 years ago. So it's like I think that's right when YouTube started, maybe when I saw it, but I almost feel like it was like something I downloaded somewhere too, like on the.
It was on the Robotic Empire website. That's where I remember first seeing it at.
Oh shit!
Yeah. All that no microphone, just because the mic broke. It showed it on the ground.
One last little tidbit about Pig Destroyer, and then I'll move on from them. But that was actually a side project. That was a side project from Agora.
What was the band's
Nosebleed?
That's right.
Oh, crazy! Really?
That's right.
Yeah,
and that's one of
Scott's
favorite bands.
Scott's OG band before Pig Destroyer was Agoraphobic Nosebleed.
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Pig Destroyer was just a little side thing that they were doing, and then boom, like what happened now.
Scott and Brian were doing Enemy Soil too.
Yeah, Enemy Soil was fucking.
Brian came later on. You know, it was Drum Machine shit first, but yeah, Brian.
And JR wasn't there the whole time, but still, he was there like during the infant style.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, dude. No, I love all that stuff.
Yeah, it was cool to watch that video again. The vocals were louder than I remembered. To be honest with you, I was like,
"Holy shit!" It wasn't the old movie thing that you were talking about.
No, it's like better. It was like an old movie. You're like, dude, that movie's sick. You got to watch it again, dude.
Just like known for that. They're like, we don't use a microphone. We just
dude, your vocalist would be so shot, dude. If you had a tour like that, he has to like yell over like cymbals and shit and like fucking amps. It's like fucking on he's like about to pass out. It looks like he's just like giving everything he has, you know. But fucking
I've fallen asleep to Prowler in the Yard, and there's one part of that album where it's him screaming like that, but it's in reverse, and it comes out of like 20 seconds of silence, and that is literally what the thing that will bring you straight from deep slumber. which is J.R. Hayes screaming in reverse, dude. Out of nowhere. There's no way you can continue sleeping.
Yeah, people yelling like by themselves when you're sleeping. Like I listen to a podcast and someone yells, I'll just be like, "Oh shit, need to turn this off." It's just like it just gets me all heightened. I'm like ready to like run down and check what's going on, you know. But yeah, so you're into Pig Destroyer, getting into the more grind, heavier stuff. So were you using that in like when you've as like a influence to start Gutrot? Was that kind of like was that the next thing, by the way? Because obviously we just kind of jumped from the 90s.
No. There was a band that I was in before Gutrot, which is like how I met those dudes. We were called Cut Rate. It was with a couple of the dudes that I went to high school with. And that was like my first like legit band. I mean, I don't know. I really even shouldn't say that. The only reason I said that is because that's the first band that I was in that actually like made it as far as to fucking get shirts made and shit.
That's legit. I mean, like, were you opening for bands?
We had like a fucking our first release was like a fucking 19 song album. Like,
Jesus. Yeah. It's grind as fuck.
Yeah, and it was like it was kind of grindy. It was like a mix of new metal and grind, like very fucking like all the like heavier parts of Slipknot meets you know, a kid that had just started listening to death metal and grind, you know.
Right.
Do you think is Slipknot new metal? Can we just because of the time I think they're placed into it? It's like Alice in Chains is kind of like rock metal, but they're like grunge. You know, it's like because of the time they came out.
And I think that's what it is. Because no other new metal bands that I know of were like doing blast beats and shit, you know.
Yeah, there's no one.
I know, but if you have a riff that's like anywhere in your music,
they do. They have that. Their breakdowns would be like in the first album and stuff, especially
a lot of those.
yeah, just like it'd be like yeah, that whole like 01, 01, 03, 01. It's like you know they would go back to that constantly. So yeah, I guess that's new metal.
I think that's the differentiation is like a new metal breakdown can just be open.
Is it tech? Is it tech new metal?
Like, they weren't really like let's just leave open notes. Well,
they wanted this. They wanted the headbanging, you know,
the rhythm.
They're calling it alternative metal on Reddit. I'm reading a little about it.
For Slipknot or for Alice in Chains. Okay,
that's a little more accurate, I suppose.
It's like
new metal. Just like harshly lumping them in with new metal, which is like
I think the right term would be new death metal.
Yeah, not new
because you got the new in there. The NU death metal.
It says in conclusion is alternative metal when it comes to their music, but new metal when it comes to a musical era they started in.
Okay.
So I don't know.
That's actually funny that Metal Chef brought up Sepultura roots because I feel like what Slipknot and bands like that did is like they were kind of like brought their influence and it made like Sepultura like go backwards into new metal. Like they like Slipknot was going this way and then like Sepultura's like, oh shit, that's sick, dude, we're gonna go this way, and they're like it kind of like they kind of met in the middle a little bit.
Chaos AD, that was like I think where like the birth of like new metal sound really
people say that. I don't even think of it like that at all. I think of roots like new metal, but I've never thought of Chaos. But people say that though. People say that all the time.
It's like 93, but then you listen to it and there's a song on that album, and I've probably said it before on the show, whatever. There's a song on that album that literally is the blueprints to like the first 3 Hatebreed records, dude.
It's probably Territory I love that album when it came out.
But either way, you listen to it and you're just like, there's so many.
There is. It's like a dun 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 like that. Like,
and then new metal happened, and then Max is like, "What up, dude? Let's bring Soulfly into the mix." And
see, what's the first what?
What's like the first new metal record? Like,
probably. I mean, it's probably the first Korn album, or maybe before that. There's that. What's that band? That guy that died, Lynn Strait, the guy that died, Snot.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Self-titled Korn was out way before that. Yeah.
Oh, but dude, you know what it is? This is my. It's the guy Mike Patton. What's the what
Oh, it's
is
like
this?
Bungle
Oh, Faith No
or
More.
Faith No More.
Faith No
Yeah.
More. I feel like that's the
like
first new metal.
rap metal. I don't think that's.
But that's
new
what new metal was. That's like pretty much the blueprint of it. And
It's
then
not
like
even rap
bands
metal. It's like rap
down-tuned.
rock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They down-tuned from there and made it like a different. But that's like the blueprint, like Rage Against the Machine,
I
like
guess.
that whole thing.
I always
feel like
thought it
that's
was the first Korn. Oh, that's kind of what I thought. It's like just straight.
What
new
year was that? 92?
94. You said right?
94.
94. So I think
Well,
Faith No More was like
you know,
93.
honestly, it might even have been like one of their previous bands because those dudes were all like that whole Bakersfield scene was all doing like
Meth.
yeah. No, they were all doing like weird shit like that back then.
Yeah. No, they were. They were in a bunch of different bands and they kind of collaborated and got together because that's.
I mean,
that's a
I have
hard
a
question.
theory that all music is related to the drugs that people are doing and wherever
It's a little
born.
methy. It's a little new metal's a little methy because like the styles, like I see people like if I see someone like dressing with like a bunch of piercings and weird shit down their face, I'm like, that's a little methy, dude. I don't know. It's like
You look
a
like-
hair.
You just automatically look like you've been up for 2 days, you know.
You got
thought
a
that was
pierced
sick?
eyebrow. You probably give it a try at least.
The pierced eyebrow. I mean, that's making a comeback. That could work. I like. Yeah, it's not for me. It's the green
Mine
hair.
never healed. It was infected the whole fucking time. Until
You
I
had
pulled it
one?
out,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
just stuck with like a little nub that I've had for the rest of
Isn't
my
there
life.
a picture of you with one like way
Yeah,
back?
I had it young, dude, but it never like literally to the point where I could like push on my eyebrow and they're like pus would come out the bottom.
Oh jeez, man.
So I was like, I'm out. I gotta take this thing out. Piercings.
Yeah. So Slipknot, you got started getting into more extreme music, and so you said you printed shirts. Did you guys like print albums? Did you guys get like a small label, or just do it like DIY?
Well, it wasn't
or
even. It
DIY?
wasn't even.
DIY?
Yeah, it was all DIY. Like the CDs were like CDR, computer paper, like all that shit. We didn't even have like real artwork for the stuff. It was just like the name of the band and the album title, and then like on the inside it was all the song titles and shit. And like
Remember how exciting that was? You thought like
absolutely.
You thought back then like you were like printing stuff, and you're like, this could be the next Slipknot, dude.
Yeah.
Like you had like no idea, just like this. I
never-
mean, it could be something huge, but it's like a
I didn't think
0.001
about
chance.
that. I just
but,
thought
you know,
about this is so cool that I'm making something that like
I'm a part of it now.
yeah, it's like here's a relic of our work and we're making it by hand, so we're seeing like every copy that somebody else may have put in and be like, this is fucking terrible, and then throw it out the window.
Yeah, because back then you just probably, I mean, me and Carrie and stuff, we would just rewrite things for like 6 months, like songs. We'd like every new practice we'd like listen to it a bunch and be like, oh no, we got to rewrite that. And we were like, we were the worst team together because he would finally be like, I like it. And I'd be like, we need to change that. Like, and it's literally nothing ever got done. And because when you kind of like had the the ear fatigue or whatever of hearing your own band, you would just be like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna work, dude. You need someone else's opinion to like throw stuff off of, because for us I didn't know that exist. I didn't know ear fatigue was a thing. I thought it was like, oh, it just doesn't that good anymore, so we should change it up. But yeah, to like put an album out and like hand out copies to people, that's like the next level. It's like if you're going like climbing the ladder, it's like get a shirt printed, fucking get a physical copy of your music, and then like hand it to people like and watch them go like like oh, I gotta listen to this. Fuck.
Yeah.
Back then with CD players though, that's all you had. And if you got a CD to listen to, back then it was like, okay, well, check it out.
I was always stoked to listen to shit on the way home from
Me too.
shows.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, so were we talking about Zach printing up some shit? Is that what we were talking? So the
I
first
forgot I needed a beer.
no, we just went on a long rant. You took us on a long rant of printing up shit and putting.
Oh yeah, I was like, that's a fun. I was just saying that was fun. Like that was like a very exciting time. And then so going from there, so that band. So where did that end?
It was like I think it was like 2002.
Okay.
Was when the band ended. Like we were together for like a year, I think.
You're still in high school, right?
I dropped out of high school, but
Okay.
so I did like my freshman year of high school, and then I came back for. Sorry, I'm trying to like plug my computer back in here.
Oh, it's all good.
I did like I think it was like maybe like a month and a half of my sophomore year, and then that's when my parents split up, or no, I'm sorry, that's when we moved to a different city.
Okay.
So yeah, I had like all the time in the world to like learn how to do blast beats and shit. Because
So why did you drop out? What was the not to get like away from
because
music?
I didn't want to go to school in the city that we were moving to, because
Yeah.
like just notorious for making dumbasses.
Yeah. Just a dumbass factory.
Yes, absolutely. Like churning them out straight up.
Oh man, no, I know that feeling because I remember my dad moved away, and then my mom was living over in like a different part of town, and then I went one day to that high school, and I was like, I'm not doing this, because I did my whole growing up somewhere else, and then like it went to like, hey, check out this rival school. It's like we were kind of like the beach kind of school, and then they were the mountain school. They were like a different breed of humans. I remember walking in there, and I was like, I was there for maybe 3 hours, and I was like, I was probably 14 or 15, and I was like, can't do it. Like, we got to figure something out. Like, I'm gonna drop the fuck out if we go here. And we ended up like lying and saying that my best friend's house at the time was my address that was still in the same town, and then she just ended up having to drive me to fucking like 45 minutes to school every morning, and then fucking I had to take 2 buses and a taxi to get home. It was insane, but she made it work. So, and yeah, props. But like that at the same time, I know that feeling of going to a different school, going like, nope, not doing that. So what are we doing?
I didn't even make it to the school. Like I was friends with a couple of kids from that city, and like I love them to death. So if they're watching, like I love you, but you're dumb.
Yeah.
You're dumb. So yeah, I was just like, I don't want to go there, and my plan was to just like practice, like get better, and like try to get a job. Getting a job didn't work out, so I ended up practicing a lot.
So you were how old? How old were you when you were trying to get a job? Like 14, 15?
It was like 15 at this point, I think. 15.
Remember you had to get like a worker's permit, like to like work underage. Like you had to get like a permit from like the state to be like, I'm underage and let me work at Dairy Queen, please let me work at Dairy Queen.
Yes, yeah, something like that. But it didn't end up working out, so I just spent all the time that I might have been working, just kind of listening to records and learning them, like just beat for beat. That's how I taught myself how to play and shit.
So is that when because I remember some people keep talking about Mutilated in the chat. So is that when Mutilated came?
Mutilated, so I met those dudes through like the previous band that I was in, like before Gutrot. Like, so how I met everybody was that band. We all played a show. We played a show with like Mutilated and Mulch, which was Brian and John and Kevin from Gutrot. That was their other band. So
I love that name.
That's Mulch.
Mulch.
So that's how we all met. And from there, we started talking on AIM. And Brian was like, dude, you obviously like want to play like faster, heavier shit, so like let's do a death metal band. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Because that's where I was trying to go with my other band. And they kind of wanted to just like keep it more like, we had like breakdowns and shit, and they wanted to like kind of keep it more that way. And I was like, fuck that, we need to play faster,
Yeah. I know. I remember being in that mode where you're just like, when breakdowns were starting to come along. I mean, at first I remember I was in a band called Taste of Blood and stuff, and I was all about the breakdowns, but they were brand new, and I just thought it was supple. Like, actually, what Anthony, like going back to Anthony's point, like I thought it was like a Chaos AD kind of like da da dun dun da da dun da da dun, and like I was seeing kids that kind of look like for me from Santa Cruz doing it, and I was like, oh well, this is like what I've been looking for. And then I started to get like hang out in that scene a little bit, and I was like, this is not what I'm looking for at all. This is not, this is like I don't want to get punched in the face and like fucking spin kicked in the fucking tit. But but I mean, it had the kind of same vibe to it. But yeah, so then it turned into like me like kind of rebelling against my friends and being like, "Fuck breakdowns, dude! It's all about double bass and blast beats, you piece of shit." Yeah. I want to be crazier and faster. But yeah, same with me. Just going out, going more extreme, just pushing it, constantly.
Yeah.
So that's what Gutrot kind of like was going for in the beginning. And so tell me about Gutrot, because
Wait, did we even talk on Mutilated?
Oh, I don't even know.
Well, I met Mutilated like basically through doing Gutrot. I mean, we all played that show together, but how those guys like were like, oh, we can get this guy to replace Tony. Well, actually, Tony decided that he was going to replace himself with me. He asked me to replace him. But
yeah.
Anyway, like we all practiced in the same building, so that's like how that came to be.
Okay, same practice space stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was like the same practice building. I think at the time that I was doing my pre-Gutrot band, I was also like jamming with some other guys that I met through doing shows with them, and they had a room in this building that I'm talking about. It was called the Loft, and that's where like I practiced at fucking from 2002 to I think it was like 2020. So anyway, or no, I'm sorry. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, but you've been there for a long ass time.
Yeah. So we all practiced in the same building. That's how I met the Mutilated guys. When Tony decided that he wanted to start like pursuing art, that's when he was like, hey, you're fucking sick. Obviously, like you can play this stuff. And like I was a fan, so I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Definitely. So Mutilated. So what did you end up like? What did you do with Mutilated?
I never got to record anything with them, but
Okay.
I wrote like I think maybe like 5 or 6 songs. It was like pretty much like the first half of what was going to be the second album, and then that's when I got the call to join Black Dahlia.
Nice.
Damn. So
then let's take it back to the Gutrot thing, because you didn't really talk about Gutrot.
Okay.
How long did that go for? And what were the details behind that project? Because that was my first introduction to you, was that split.
Hell yeah. So in like 2002, I can't remember like exactly when it was, or maybe it was early 2003, but so we started jamming late at night in the room that Mulch jammed in. I actually had to I was playing on their drummer's drum set because my stuff wasn't up there quite yet. So the first 2 songs that we wrote were Teabagging the Dead and Gorging on Menstrual Chunks, and those basically like came about just by like improv jamming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we
Definitely.
we would
record yourself and jam practice and stuff.
We did recordings and stuff, but that was like after we had songs together, really. At least that's how I remember it. Like we would jam, and then if something sounded cool, like we would stop and then start to like work on something from that.
Yeah, totally, dude. That's I think that's a great way to at least, plant a seed, because a lot of cool things can come out of just getting loose and jamming with somebody. Just
absolutely
finding a pocket, and then once you're in there, you're like, oh shit, dude, we found a little pocket together.
Yeah, just getting that like kind of natural jam. I mean, that's
how the riff whiz works. We call him the riff wizard. That's how that dude works. Same how Dan and I worked with Carnivorous, like just sitting for a lot of time where you're just playing shit together, and somehow, some way you click at the right time and you remember what you were doing at that moment, then you can build on that.
That was the hardest part, because being my whole childhood through my 20s was a stoner, so it was really hard to remember things. Like that was like the number one thing is like playing guitar and stuff, is like I'll come up with things that I like love all the time, but if you don't like record it or like somehow like document it, then there's so many sick riffs that are just gone that I
Oh
was
yeah,
like
dude.
proud of, and I'm like, I have no idea what that I'm like no idea where it came from. There's times I remember me and Casey jamming and just like freestyling in the old jam room and AAA mini storage, and we'd have like a sick riff, and then like I remember Ty Oliver, all these like Matt Stella, all these people walk in, they're like, "Fuck, it's sick, dude." Well, fuck yeah, and then the next day I'm just like, I don't even know what we were playing, dude. I have no idea what we were doing because it's just
that's
like I
kind
feel
of beautiful. I think that's kind of beautiful. It was just for you guys in that moment, you know.
Well, Casey's one of those drummers. I know compliments and stuff, but Casey's one of those drummers that, like, as a guitar player, when you're playing with him, he's listening to the guitar too because he plays guitar, so he knows. He's kind of like listening to kind of compliment and like go to the next part
He
and
can
things like that. Like
quickly
he's
adapt. Yeah.
it's not like a someone just that doesn't know like guitar stuff and whatever. That he knows what the guitar's doing. He's listening to it and will be like, all right, to this now, and it'll like kind of look at you and just be like, all right, this now. And there's a lot of drummers when I would like just freestyle with them, they'd just be like, all right, well, I'm just going with them or whatever you're doing, brother. Like whatever you want to do. Like, they would just like immediately change the fucking tempo. I'm like, all right, like jun, like I would have to just change on a like fucking dime, where Casey was kind of listening. He listens to your guitar playing and then builds stuff around it because he's hearing it, But
I think a lot of drummers do that, even if they don't play guitar. Though they're like, they're like humming the riff,
Yeah. No, I know. I just remember like freestyling with other drummers versus with them. I felt like they were just navigating it and I'm following them. So whatever they want to do is all good. But I remember just you in particular, you would just be like, oh, I get the vibe of this riff and I feel like this should come up next. You look like like give you the eye, and you're like, all right, so let's slow it down, let's speed it up, or and beats and stuff inspire me too. That's one thing that's always been the hardest thing with me is like I can't just sit with a guitar and write. Like I need a drum beat. I need some sort of a beat to like give me a vibe. Like if you throw like a fucked up rhythm together, I'll be like, well, I can totally come up with a riff around that. But if you told me, oh, it's in fucking 17/9, dude, just no, like if you told me what it was, I'd be like, I'm fucking lost. But if I can hear it, it's like totally easy to understand.
17/9 sounds fucked up, dude.
I don't know if that's even doesn't exist. Yeah, I just made that up. I made it actually. Oh, perfect. But
can't be odd like that.
Yeah. I'm all it's in 101 fucking 3, dude. No, but just hearing like when people say odd time signatures, and then Casey and ODS before I joined them were all about like what 5 and 7 and a bunch of these like like these times I really didn't fuck with, but hearing it I was like, oh, that makes sense to me, but seeing it written and seeing it written in like music, I'm just like, that's fucking another language. I mean, it is, but that's Chinese to me. It's like I'm looking at symbols, going like, what the fuck is this? But I don't know. I'm ranting. I can do for another 35 minutes if you guys want.
I was just waiting to see how long it would go, dude.
I know.
Awesome.
So
I'm getting drunk.
So taking it back here to Zach. So
yeah, let's get rolling. Okay, so Gutrot, which by the way is a band I've always thought was like one, because for the guys like us that grew up during the early ages of Unique Leader, there was always those bands that didn't come out on Unique Leader that I was like, they should have been on Unique Leader if they kept on going,
Yeah.
There was a lot of Unique Leader influence in certain parts of Gutrot, and I just thought that, like, with a cleaner production, that totally could have been a band that dropped on UL back in the day.
No shit. Yeah, I mean, I that's cool. That would have been awesome because we definitely all fucking got down with a lot of the Unique Leader shit. Like some of my favorite death metal is fucking Paemia, dude. Like,
hell yeah, dude.
That shit's what's up.
I can hear that in Gutrot. I can hear that like for sure. Like
that was definitely that was one of the bands that I heard on that Canadian radio station that just like was like, yes, this is.
Shout out to Joel from Paemia, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I can get to you pretty quick, so I'm gonna be searching for you very soon.
Arshbreed too, right? Arshbreed was the side project of them. I loved Arshbreed too. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Have you heard the fucking that last album they put out?
The newest one, no, I have not.
I have
Yeah.
not.
It
Jesus.
was only a year or two ago, I think. Maybe
Really?
I could be mistaken. Yeah.
Paemia?
Yeah, dude, it's so hard for me to keep up with
Jesus.
everything.
No,
dude.
not Paemia. Fucking Arsebreed.
Arsebreed.
Archbreed?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no,
god.
Paemia, we definitely would have heard about that, but yeah, either way, it's fine. It's so hard for me to keep up with everything, dude.
Oh, it's called
I-
Buto, Butoh.
Yes.
Butoh?
Yep.
It's 2020. Okay. I'm fucking stoked. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I stopped making myself feel bad about it because there's just so much cool shit, dude, and I'm never gonna be able to keep up with it with all the other things that I'm paying attention to, you know.
Dude, it's
The-
like actual work to keep up with music anymore.
And that's what I'm
you know?
saying, dude. Like we had that time back in the day, dude. All it was like, what are we gonna do today? We're gonna jam, we're gonna fucking party, and we're gonna fucking talk about music and search for new music. That was like the four things that we did in our early 20s, you know.
This Archbreed shit is sick. I'm just
Yeah,
listening to it right now.
Yeah.
It's like right back where they left off.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
what's up, dude. And I love that that's happening too for our generation and the guys who are a little bit older than us, that like everybody's starting to feel a little bit of a renaissance, a resurgence of sorts, where they're getting inspired again, you know, and not wanting to stop doing it. So they're bringing their shit back, dude, and that's rad. That's what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
seeing with Retromorphosis. I'm so stoked on that fucking project, dude.
I know we haven't even really talked about it much. It's fucking.
I know, but
Possession.
let's not. We've already steered away from Zach.
One thing,
again.
what I mean, to your point though, all I'm saying is that it's really cool doing this again, because for me, like, I feel like a lot of our tech death stuff is kind of like we listen to it, but it's not like
Mhm.
something we're like our number one priority in life anymore, or just like crazy metal. We like listen to other music mostly until this podcast, and then this podcast kind of like brought life into kind of like this. I
For
keep just
us
saying
first
nostalgic.
as hosts, for us
Yeah,
first as
yeah.
hosts, like it started you know, reignite things for us, and then for
Having
the
Dennis on,
all the
having Dennis
homies,
on and shit. Yeah, and
yeah,
Dennis, and
all the
seeing him, he was with us. He got reignited too. And he was like, after that podcast, he was like, you know what? He's like working his job, he's doing his thing, he's not doing music, and he's like, you know what? Like, I want to start playing music again after that. Like, we're like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
and
Like,
that's
this is
rad
so
as
sick.
fuck, dude.
I'm like, if
You know?
that is the only thing that comes from this podcast, I would be like, we helped spawn like the brains of Spawn kind of get back together and start jamming again. I'm like, dude,
we're the guys
this-
in Severed, and they're starting to talk about
Severed's doing
getting it,
stuff.
you
Oh
know.
god,
And
Gilbert's in here.
I don't know.
How's
I
it
just
going?
I want to say that I think
Mike
it's
Gilbert,
really,
hell yeah, dude.
Oh
What
yeah,
up? What up, brother?
Gilbert is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. So I'm gonna say, watch how he loves compliments. He's the best shredder, and he is of all time.
So sick.
For technical death metal, he
Mhm.
nails it. He always thinks he fucks up. He's like, oh, I sucked, but he just fucking kills it every time. Like, I already got we got.
He's like the
Yeah.
coolest fucking guy too, man. Like,
Yeah. It's like the perfect example. I knew I could just get
dude,
it out.
I've been hypnotized by Gilbert's playing for years, dude, and I still get caught up in it when I'm in person with him. He's just got a style that
the
it's
fucking
like,
Jedi grind, dude.
exactly.
Oh, dude,
It's
the fuck,
just so
yeah.
smooth, you know. And watching him play, he's just such a professional, dude.
So he says hi or hello. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shorten it.
Yeah, he's greeting you as well, Zach. But yeah,
I seen it. I seen it.
I seen
yeah,
it. Yeah, fuck yeah.
But no,
That's one of those.
That's what's
yeah.
cool about this whole thing is like we aren't done. You know, Odious is slowly chipping away at this new album too. I mean, me and Joel more than these guys.
Yeah.
But it's
I borrowed a bass for it, and the said bass I borrowed got taken back. So I'm like, fuck, dude, I already did like 3 or 4 songs. Like, I gotta fucking get
I know,
that same $4,000 bass.
We're working slow, but it doesn't matter, dude. What matters is that we're all just involved in something right now, currently, and it's a whole decade more after the last time we all did some shit, you know. And Zach's been active this whole time. It's like it's so cool that all the dudes that we were all getting connected with 20 years ago are still fucking around, you know.
And one of my like Zach in particular. So I was in Santa Cruz once, just chilling at a bar in Santa Cruz, and then Zach elbows me from behind, and he's all, "What's up, motherfucker?" And in my brain, like, had to like understand. I was going to a metal show or something. It was, I think, Phobia or something was playing in Santa Cruz.
Zoomed probably.
Yeah, and I was going for like see Mike and hang out with Mike and stuff, and you just like shoulder checked me. You're like, "What's up?" My brain was like, "You and Santa Cruz? Like, what's going?" Like, I was like trying to put all the information together. I was like, "What the fuck?" And that was when we announced that you were going to be on the show. I was like, that was the first memory that came up. I was like, I've seen him and I've hung out with him in Santa Cruz. Like, I didn't even know you were playing in the band, and you just come up behind me. I'm just at a bar with my back turned, and you're just like, "What up?" And to see someone's face that's across the U.S., like right there, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, it was it's literally a memory that I'll never forget. That was fucking amazing, dude.
That's funny, dude. Yeah. Like I played, I never recorded anything with them. I just played like live with them and stuff for like, about 3 years, and a lot of people like never knew it.
yeah. I know. I just went to go see Exhumed and Phobia, and then like fucking Zach's behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a work night. I'm like drunk. I'm already too drunk, and I'm like, fuck. It was such a fucking cherry on top for that night. But so I mean, so Gutrot happens. So after Gutrot, was that the cat? So how did is that Black Dahlia next? Is that pretty much the next move from there?
So I was doing Gutrot and Mutilated at the same time, and so like how the whole Black Dahlia thing even came about is I used to talk to Corey Grady a lot, like on AIM Instant Messenger, and like I don't know, for some reason, like he thought I was cool enough to like keep talking to, you know, I was just some fucking stupid fan kid, you know.
Yeah.
And so like he started like sending me albums and shit through Messenger. I remember getting like Internal Suffering, Chaotic Matrix from him.
Were you just getting like the album names and just going to the record
he was
store?
Like sending me these albums like through Messenger, because you were like able to do that shit. It kind of took forever, but you know, sit there and fucking chat the whole time. And yeah, he sent me that, and like Fetopsy, Dispartum, and I think Aeon, Bleeding the False, like stuff like that. So anyway, like I became friends with him, like talking on there and shit. And fast forward a couple of like maybe like a year later, Mutilated was doing this this death metal fest in Minneapolis that Don Decker from Anal Blast was putting on.
Oh yeah, Don, yeah.
And Black Dahlia played that, and I think that might have been. No, that wasn't the first time they saw me play. I'm sorry. I fucked this all up.
No, it's all good. So you guys are from the same town, though. You guys are from the same area, though, right?
Yeah, kind of. They're like, they're from a little further north than where I stay at.
Okay.
But so yeah, I'm sorry, I lost what I was saying.
Oh, you were trying. You thought that fest was the first time they saw you, but it was at another.
Oh yeah, I fucked that all up. Okay, so the first time they saw me play was with Gutrot, and it was our second show ever, actually. So we played our first show the night before, and one of the bands that played, their singer was he was like the owner and operator of this DIY spot called Idle Kids. And like he liked us, came up to us after we got done. He was like, "Hey man, I have a fucking show happening tomorrow night if you guys are interested in opening." And it was Ion Dissonance, Circle of Dead Children, Saprogenic, and the Black Dahlia Murder.
Oh my god, guys. I mean, can we just talk about early 2000s tour packages for you know? Like that for real just takes me right back to all the old shows I used to go to, late teens, early 20s, of just packing all that, like that variety, yet it all works together for me personally, you know, and that was how we were exposed to all these different flavors of metal, dude. Was those
a lot of it too? You didn't know those bands. Like a lot of those bands, you're just like, oh, okay, we'll go to this package, and then in the future, you look at that package, you're like, what the fuck? We saw that like them in their infancy like come out and do a show or something, you know, like and they were like, it's just one of those bands you just see on the flyer, like Ion Dissonance. Okay, well I'll check them out. I guess I'll be there for that. And then you see them and like 10 years down the road, you're like, what the fuck, dude? That show is insane. Like, you know, seeing what they become and stuff
Yeah,
like
but
that.
someone who's seasoned too, who knows all those bands, like loves and appreciate. Like for me personally, I love and appreciate that the first two bands that came out of his mouth was Ion Dissonance and Circle of Dead Children on the same bill. That already locks me in. I mean, there's gonna the rest of them were good too, but just having those two on the bill just tells me like we have a nice variety of quality and extreme, like different areas of metal already laid out for us right there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
So like I was actually like fucking like well familiar with all those bands. I found Ion Dissonance on like mp3.com, I think, and then Circle of Dead Children was yet another one of those bands that was on that Canadian radio station. So like, yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, we're playing this show. You know?
Yeah.
So that was the first time they saw me play. I think it was like a couple months after that. They were having trouble with Corey, and it was either Brian or Trevor. I think it might have been Trevor. Like, you know, shot me a message randomly on Instant Messenger, and was like, "Hey, man, you know, we might be, you know, in the market for a new drummer soon. You know, would you be interested?" And I was like, "Of course, yeah." They were like my favorite like local band at the time, so just yeah.
As far as
cool
Black Dahlia, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say it's cool that he was still in the underground even then, like propping people up from the underground early. You know, because that's what he talked about. And then this is like a perfect example right here. Like, I know it was Trevor that latched on to Gutrot and watching.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Play, you know,
like I sent Corey the Gutrot demo through Messenger. And like that's how all of them heard it. So they heard it before they actually saw me play and shit. But like, yeah, Trevor, he definitely knew about it, and he was down as fuck with Gutrot. He supported the shit out of us always, even like after I was out of Black Dahlia and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I could see him. That's like a right up Trevor's alley, fucking stuff. I could definitely tell, like the Pioneer kind of grindy, kind of fucking Jesus Christ. Like he was all about that shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So you basically, they added you in. So tell me about. Like was it a tryout? You just were in, or what was going on with that with Black Dahlia?
So once they decided that they didn't want Corey in the band anymore, Brian hit me up and he was like, "So yeah, we're gonna have you come try out." They came and picked me up. I played Unhallowed with them like all the way through. I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure I fucked up a couple of times because I was like really nervous, but I knew all of those songs like very well because of all the shit that Corey would send me through Messenger. Like he actually sent me the album like unmixed, unmastered, you know, from the board. Like I got to hear it before Metal Blade did.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was already very well familiar with the music. I knew all the transitions and everything. When I went, you know, minus the few fuck ups I had, they were like, "Hell yeah. You want to join the band?" And then fucking 2 weeks later, we're on the road with Cannibal Corpse.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's crazy. One thing I wanted to ask you about that too is I remember I think you were in the era. I remember talking to Brian or Trevor about this a long time ago, but I brought it up on the podcast before. So when you guys did Ozfest, right? It was Ozfest. It wasn't Mayhem Fest. It was still Ozfest, right?
Yeah, 2005.
2005. So
I'm pretty sure Dahlia did like a Mayhem Fest like down the road, but the one
down the road,
one was 2005.
But you guys were still so like a new, such a like a up and coming band. I remember Unhallowed came out and being at a show at Slim's, and I had the album and stuff and listening to it, and I remember like they threw it on. Maybe it was a Cannibal show or something. They threw it on before Cannibal came on, just to like, and everyone was fucking into it. Like everyone was like, "Oh, I know this song." Like everyone like knew that. They just sparked up so fast, you know, like as far as they had the fucking At the Gates thing, and they had death metal. They had like all the kind of like everything that you wanted in one package that people were all into, and everyone was fucking so into it. But I remember I think Trevor told me about Ozfest, how the label was so just like hyped that they bought the fucking spot on Ozfest, and we're like, all right, you're gonna have to recoup this shit later, but we're giving like $100 grand or something to be on Ozfest.
I think part of the deal for them giving us that money, I think it was like 70 grand.
Okay,
it was like something like that, and part of that deal, you know, for them giving us that money was like adding another album to the contract. And
okay.
I honestly don't remember like how many they were already like originally signed up for, but I do know that there was at least one more added because of that, like that spiel.
Right. So right after Ozfest though, you had to hit the road hard, right? That was like
yeah, we came home from Ozfest for like 2 weeks, and then that's like when the touring started. But the first tour of that touring was my last tour with them.
Okay. Got it. So it's like, yeah, I felt like it was from what I was kind of getting at, was like a business move by the label, going like, all right, we're gonna pay this, like, you know, for a band to get, or for a label to give a new band like a $70,000 like chunk to be like, all right, so we're trusting you guys right now, like you guys have to get this money back, but they, I mean, what's his fucking name, Metal Blade guy,
Brian Slagle.
Brian, yeah. I want to call him Scott for a second. Jesus. Brian was like, "Fuck it, this is like an investment, you know. Just put it in, and it's a band.
Honestly,
it's
like
paid off."
Slagle was always really like supportive of the band, even before like they got fucking huge. You know, like early on, like he knew right away that they were gonna be something big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like, because I remember they were telling me they were on their way to some festival and their van broke down. And like they were fucked, you know, and they're like, Slagle, like, we need help, man, you know, we got to do this. And he fucking sent him money, and he was like, go kick ass at this show, man, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So he was always very much like behind the band, and he was always very generous with, you know, anytime he would be at any shows that we were at, because he would pop up like all over the place, you know. He would take us out to dinner, you know, and let us fucking drink all we want and all that. And
where does he live? What town does he live in?
I think, well, I'm not
or
even
did
sure.
He live in?
I think he lives in California.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd see him in LA a bunch. So I didn't know if but I would see him like random place. He's showed up to other shows before where he's just there in the backstage. And I'm
like the first time I met him was in fucking Salt Lake City, Utah, I think.
Okay. Yeah. See,
the guys didn't tell me that he was coming out because they didn't want me to fucking like freak out, you know.
Yeah.
And then like once he got there, I was like, oh fuck. That was like 18. I was like 18 years old when I did my first tour with them, so you know, it was all very like just surreal.
Yeah,
you know?
I've never met him in person. I know I would get the starstruck kind of situation going. Like,
I got in trouble a little bit with Zenith Passage last year because I didn't get in trouble, but they told me to take it down because they were you know, getting signed to Metal Blade, and Brian Slagle was at the Psychofest that me and Chris Beatty were at, and I think that was the only member of Zenith Passage, and he was like, Chris was like, "Fuck, dude, should I talk to him? What should I do? Should I you're already getting signed to his label, like, might as well talk to him, dude. I'll hold your beer." Or and he like, we're like, go do it, dude. He and Beatty's like fucking 22. He's a kid, you know. I mean, as far as, but he's levels above me musically ever. But I was like, go do it, dude. Go talk to him. And I took a picture of him, just like he's sitting there talking to him, just like like talking to him, like, well, yeah, dude, totally, yeah. And I took a picture of it, and I posted it on my story, and then fucking McKinney just texted me right away. He's like, giving it away already. I was like, all right, I'll take it down. Like, and Chris was like, all right, dude, I don't know. It might be weird if you do that. I was just hammered, and I was like, it's funny. It's whatever, dude. You're not even, I don't think he was even announced in Zenith Passage yet. So I was like, no one will get it. It's just a joke. And then like, within 5 minutes, McKinney was like, dude, giving it away. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it down. Sorry. I'll take it down. But like, that was like, there's a story on my Instagram with like, that's showing all Psychofest highlights, and there's like a real like a 1 second clip of BD talking to Slagle, going like, all freaked out and like I kind of like trying to hint at the future in there. But yeah, that was he just shows up. He's a big hockey fan. He was on the NHL network the other night. He was literally getting interviewed by the NHL like broadcasters because he goes to like he goes to so many games. Like, and I love that because I love NHL. And yeah, that's one thing about Slagle. Like, he's all about fucking like fucking. Is everyone frozen? Oh no,
No.
okay. Maybe I'm just boring. But no, that's Slagle. Also, I remember one show that we missed when we were on tour with Black Dahlia. He fucking crowd surfed like the show that we missed. Like he like
this guy doesn't do, dude.
I know. The dude's like, and you know, he fucking signed Metallica. Like, what the fuck? Like, he signed Slayer. Like, you know,
yeah, isn't Metallica's first
all kinds of bands,
official song release was on a Metal Blade compilation?
and he's super cool. He's down to talk to you. Like, I didn't want to punish him too much. You know, when I hung out with him the few times I've hung out with him, but he'll just talk to you. He's just a dude. He's a fan like that gets to sign these cool bands, and he was kind of ahead of the game, and he's earned it. You know, it's fucking awesome. I love him. So, anyways, this is my face.
Sick, dude.
I have to piss.
So, you said the first tour the first tour after that was your last one. So, with all the experiences and all that shit you got from the Black Dahlia thing, now you're out of that. Where you at mentally? Where you at artistically? What's your next move?
So this was like 2006. I was just kind of like jamming around. Just trying to like play something heavy, you know. And I ended up jamming with a couple of friends in a band called In Battle Array. It was like kind of, I fucking hate to say it, but like deathcore-y sort of, but like a little more on the death metal side because that's, you know, I just like that shit way more. But
I just realized, dude, I fast forward a little bit because I did have a couple other questions. Let's go back again to Black Dahlia because miasma. I want to know how much you were involved in the writing process of that album.
Whole thing, man. Whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay. So
yeah.
there was
sorry,
like
I passed this up, dude. We definitely need to be in problem. Here for a little bit.
So there was like, I think there was a song and a half, maybe 2 songs written prior to my joining. And like one of those songs was A Vulgar Picture. Okay. I don't remember what the other one was, but so that's like kind of I started like reworking the drums for that, and that's like the first song that I actually like, I don't know, or no, I'm sorry, the first song that I actually like wrote with them from start to finish was the fuck was it called? Miscarriage, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was the one. But yeah, from there, we wrote the songs in like we started writing after I think it was after we got home from the first tour that I did with them, that Cannibal Corpse tour. Because we were playing A Vulgar Picture and Miscarriage on the second tour that I did with them, with like Unearth and Terror and Remember Never, which was actually, I think that might have been the first time I met you, Anthony.
Yeah,
because
very early.
Yeah, I think you were there with Dan.
I was
Dan and Pat, maybe.
Totally, dude.
Yeah.
And no, I was super stoked because at that time we had already, you know, been familiar with your work with Gutrot and all that stuff, and I was just so stoked to see somebody, you know, from the underground that we had to dig to get to, you know. It wasn't something that just fell on our lap. You had to dig to get to Gutrot, you know.
Yeah.
And for somebody who we knew from the start that anybody who deserved this gig, it would be you. Like, to see it be happening, I was just I was enamored. I was just so stoked that that was happening, you know, and there's multiple versions of that I've seen since then too. I'm just saying, like, that's one of them where I'm like, yo, here's a dude who literally showed no Pro Tools, no bullshit. Here's my skills at the, you know, the best I am at this point when I recorded this. And I was like, yeah, dude, this guy can do a bunch of stuff. And to get the Black Dahlia gig is like, all right, of course. And then to see you out there live and hear you on my asthma, and I was just like, to watch it happen, watch it unfold was just super cool to me, you know?
Oh yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the writing of those songs, we continued after we got home from that tour. We were home for a little bit. Then we left for Europe in December. We were out there for like 3 weeks, I think it was. And then once we got home from that, we didn't do anything until I think it was like February or March. It was just like a short 5-day thing with Suffocation and Behemoth. And
Nice.
then like
Rad.
after we got home from that, we did like the finishing touches on the writing process, and then left for the recording process out to Richmond, Virginia.
What was who made the choice to make it like a picture of Vegas, the Vegas Strip on the cover? Did we talk about that with Trevor when he was on?
I don't think so.
Probably it was definitely Trevor. He like, yeah, all the like the artistic, you know, visual stuff, that was definitely like all Trevor.
Yeah.
I mean, he would like, he would like fucking like come up with the shit, and then, you know, he would like, what do you guys think of this? And, you know, usually all the time everybody was fucking like on board because he was just that good, you know.
It's
Definitely.
it's still to this day a standout cover. Like it catches my eye really quick. Like if I'm scrolling or whatever, and for whatever reason that cover art passes, just I know it's that. Even if I just keep scrolling, I was like, that was my asthma there. You know, it's
he was very adamant about it being like not like a typical metal album cover, you know what I mean? Like he wanted it to be something that somebody would look at and be like, you know, I wonder what this is, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aside from the logo, maybe, you know what I mean? You couldn't really tell like what you were getting yourself into.
Right.
Definitely.
So,
I mean, that's what's cool thing. I mean, about Black Dahlia was it basically looked like it might be a metalcore band, like it might be a bunch of things, you know. But then listening to it and like hearing the drums, hearing everything, it's like this is like a death metal mixed with At the Gates, mixed with all these like cool
yeah,
other
I was gonna say
influences.
if you were to walk up to a person that listens to metal that doesn't know about Black Dahlia and you hand them Nocturnal, they're gonna think it's a black metal band. You hand them Miasma, you don't know what the fuck they're
Yeah, you don't
thinking.
know what the fuck that is.
Yeah,
And it's like it's another Trojan horse kind of band because it's you know, it's like it's in that wave of hardcore, metalcore, and stuff like that. But the thing is that, and you know, Trevor, Brian, everyone kind of looked the part at the time, but then it was way more aggressive than any of that shit. So it was like
yeah.
the people that were into that stuff would be like, okay, well, they have our look, so we'll give them a chance, and then fucking be like blown away and be like, and that might have probably pushed so many people from like going from that genre to like more aggressive stuff. It's the Slipknot of of like the 31-year-olds, you know, like the 28 to 31-year-old people were like, shit, this is our Slipknot, you know, this is like we were into like you know, like Poison the Well and as Blood Runs Black, and then we hear Black Dahlia Murder and we're like, oh shit, okay, it's like your Korn, Limp Bizkit, then fucking Slipknot, you know. It's like, all right, this is now the Trojan horse that brings over and kind of like a faster drum, actual death metal influence. All the influences that Trevor has too is so vast, you know. It's not like he's not just ripping off Hatebreed or something. He's got Gutrot influences, you know. Like he's all over the place with that. So that was really cool. So you definitely, you were in Abigail Williams for a while, right? You did that afterwards?
Yeah. So that started out as like I sessioned with them. Ken hit me up it was like maybe like just under a year. Yeah, about just under a year after the whole Black Dahlia thing, and asked me if I was interested in flying out and recording the drums for their first full length. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I went and checked it out, and I definitely fucking was into what was going on. And that was the first time I ever sessioned. So, you know, that was like another thing where I was like, cool, somebody thinks I'm like good enough to like want to fucking fly me out and, you know, have me play on their music. Like, yeah, awesome, man. So I flew out there. I was there for like a month, practiced with them. We did a couple of shows, and then we ended up recording. I don't remember like exactly what happened because I recorded like a full, I don't remember how many songs. It was like maybe like 12, 11,
Okay.
12.
Mm-hmm.
And only like 5 of them, sorry. Only 5 of them got used. I think there was like some kind of a miscommunication between Ken and the label at the time about like the deadline for the album. So like Ken was still working on it. Some of it wasn't even tracked yet. Some of the instruments when they asked for it. So the songs that got put on it were basically like the easiest ones to complete in the time that they wanted it. Because I think what it was is they were trying to get it out in time for us. We were doing a tour. The first tour the band did was in the UK, like in October of 2006.
Okay.
So and we were recording. I recorded in July, so they had to like get all the rest of the shit done. You know, I think it was like in like a month or 2 or something like that to have it done and then sent to them. You know, and then for the duplication process and all that shit.
You know what's funny to me is thinking about it right now. It's, you know, Black Dahlia was kind of had that look that was kind of like accessible at the time, and then kind of led you kind of to death metal. Same thing with Abigail Williams. They kind of had that look in the beginning, but they were black metal. Like they were like they had the aesthetic of like kind of a more popular look, but then they would like play kind of like a more like blackened style of black metal. I was like, what the fuck? Because we toured with them back in like I think Bjorn from Vehemence was in the band.
Yep.
Yeah. And
love that dude.
Yeah, and that's where Samus met Decrepit Birth, and that's where they hit it off. Was like Samus was playing in that band, and they were just treating him like shit. And he was very happy on it.
That might even have been the first time that I met you, Joel, and I know for sure.
Oh, that makes sense.
I met you, Casey.
Hell yeah, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys played at the fucking that skate land.
Oh my god!
I sure remember that place.
We were so hungover. Oh my god! I remember that. That's like one of the more legendary hungover shows I remember like playing. It's like we had to pick up band members from different parties they went to like the day before. And I remember like Trevor's there and you were there, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, we're like destroyed at a skate park." We had to, in a roller skating rink, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And it was like a bunch of people. It was Faceless, Abigail Williams, Veil of Maya, Decrepit.
That's more frequent than you would think it would be as a roller skating rink turned into a death metal show. You know?
I know. I remember actually getting into Cynic's coming to Santa Cruz in a few days, but I remember me and Michael Keane getting in an argument about Cynic at that time because I was like one of these like, no, dude, it's all about focus, guys. You know, I was one of those like arms up. Like I had not fully like tried to listen to the newer stuff, and then later that became my favorite album for like 5 years straight. But I remember us like getting in like an argument about it. But seeing Matt was like, I remember Matt Sotelo was like 7 sheets. He was like, I don't even know if I can play. He's like barfing outside and shit. And I'm like, dude, fucking Black Dahlia's here and shit. Like, we got to do good. Like, this is not like a fuck around show. And he's like, I don't know if I can play, dude. I don't know if I can do it. And I was like, we got to do it. He was dying. I could hear him. Like, I still remember that show, like clearly, like just the noises he was making in between songs. He was like, like it's like he was like fighting, vomiting the whole time. But that was. Fuck, that's Michigan, huh? I forgot that was Michigan.
that's like a suburb of Detroit. That was in Westland.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's outside of Detroit or whatever, like a suburb.
one thing about Detroit too, that because a lot of people have Detroit kind of typecasted as like a crazy place, but there's like a bunch of suburbs there, and would stay at John's house when we're touring, and it's like there's a lot of nice places like right around. They're just chill around Detroit,
Yeah.
so it's like you're in Detroit kind of. But can you explain like just Detroit to people? Because a lot of people think it's like a boarded up kind of like
I mean, it
crazy place,
is like
8 mile. Like people think of like Eminem.
The actual city of Detroit is kind of like that in certain
Okay.
areas. Like they've done a lot of work over the years, and there's like a lot of new developments and shit.
Yeah,
but, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not like as bad as it used to be. I mean, me personally, I've never really had any like bad experiences going down to any areas of Detroit. Like
Harpo's.
Yeah, Harpo's. I was just about to bring that up. The first time I
Yeah.
ever went there, I think I was like 14 years old. I was like in the 7th grade, and I went with my buddy to go see ICP in Guar.
Yeah.
And like I had to lie to my mom and like tell her that my friend's dad was taking us, which he did, but like he dropped us off.
Yeah, he's like later gets.
Well, he lived in St. Clair Shores, which was like a kind of like a more ritzy area. And it's like really not far away from Harpo's, which is, it's like one of those things where some of the areas are nice and then other areas aren't.
Yeah.
I forgot your adolescence was right at the time that ICP was like flourishing, and you were right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They were Detroit too. I forgot.
I loved them for about a year, and then I was like, all right,
that sounds about right. It was like
I mean,
that.
they're hilarious as shit, dude. Like I still laugh at that, some of their stuff, but like
to the interview. What's the bald guy's name? What's his name? The
Shaggy Too Dope.
Oh yeah.
So he was on Tom Segura's podcast the other day, last year, and I watched it the other day. It's like fucking. When I'm getting older, it's the other day now. But like I fucking watched it, and he was fucking hilarious. I was like fucking Tom Segura and Christina P were like they were like could not fucking even speak how funny he was.
Yeah,
and
it was funny, dude. They even showed him videos of a dude who had Juggalo tattooed on his face, and he was just like,
"Who the fuck is that guy? Fuck that guy,
idiot."
That was killing me.
My cousin Mike used to date one of Shaggy Two Dope's baby's mama, like not too long ago, like just within the past few years.
Jesus.
Sometime within the past decade, I don't know.
That area around Harpo, so for someone to drop you off there is pretty gnarly. Because I remember, like, it was kind of a shock for me because there was the guy that was loading us in was armed, and he told me that when we walked in, he's like, "Oh yeah, like a month or two ago, some guy shot another guy in the head and they stole his gear." I was like, "Oh, sick, dude."
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And there's just people at the very end.
I didn't know shit about like the place itself the first time I went there.
Over that bridge right there, that little overpass, that's like where shit's kind of gnarly, right? It's right over there. Yeah. That's like one of the gnarlier parts of Detroit.
That whole general area, that overpass, definitely like don't fucking ever go there.
I walked all drunk over there because I wanted to see what it was all about because I was hammered and I was like, I want to see what this is all about. Like all like, and my friend and everyone from Detroit was like, don't do it. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it real quick. And I walked down the block. And fucking people were just coming out like on the doors, like what the fuck? And I started hitting myself, and then I turned around because I was like, I know that like gangster dudes don't like people like that are like have mental illness. Still like fuck that shit, I don't want that shit. And I started like hitting myself, and they just I played the crazy white boy card, and they just fucking didn't touch me. But then I came back, and there's a guy smoking crack, and like in the back, like when we're loading out, the guy just like was like laughing. I'm like, dude, I was like trying to talk him like into a better life. I was like, dude, you gotta stop that stuff, man. There's better things out there. He's like, nah, I don't think so. It's like smoking crack. And I was like, I just wanted to know like because that liquor store right across the street, and there was like some sort of a fast food place right next to it, and there's
a White Castle.
There's a White Castle. Yep. And I remember like it was like triple pane bulletproof glass that they gave you your food in. They Lazy Susan.
Yep.
And I remember like standing in line at the liquor store, and just dudes were just cutting in front of me like constantly. They're like, "Oh, white what?" Was like cut in front of me. I'm like, "It's whatever you need, brother. It's all good. I don't want to fuck with this." Like they were just like they looked at me and they're like, "Nope, you just cut in front of you." And I was like, It's all good, man. I'm not definitely not starting shit in this neighborhood. This is like one of those, scarier neighborhoods I've been in as far as like, fuck this guy.
So yeah, like it's weird, man. Like there's pockets of the city that are just like completely fucked, and then others that are like, oh, this is actually really nice,
It's kind of like San Francisco. It's like there's like the sketchy blocks, and there's like one block over there's a Ritz-Carlton, and then you walk another block, and the guy's doing gnarly drugs you've never seen someone do intravenously, and then like, yeah, that's crazy, man.
You can't have a place like that and not have something like that. If there's gonna be a hodgepodge of everything, dude, and it's just gonna eventually.
It's just crazy how close it gets to each other from like a beautiful, like an expensive block, and then like where you get the drugs.
Like, well, especially like, SF because it's a peninsula, so it's like it can only go up, it can't really go out, totally. Space. But like a lot happens in the city, and like it's like, yeah, you're like in Nob Hill, then you're in the Tenderloin, like a few blocks or whatever. You're in the Tender. I remember I lived. They called it like the Tender Knob.
The tender
knob.
Yeah. But basically, no, but it was like I lived there for like a year downtown, and it was insane. Like I saw so many things that I'll never forget.
It's funny how like I remember you took us to the Odious practice for a little while in the Tenderloin. Remember?
Yeah, right by the Warfield over there by Market. It was like that.
I think I literally was there to witness the time that Joel said, "You know what? Fuck San Francisco." And it was going to an Odious jam, and I think it was a man shitting on the sidewalk, or
it wasn't that. No, we came out of practice once, and there was a guy like there was a couch that just got thrown on the side, and someone was climbing into it like on meth or something. And I was like, all right, well, that's pretty funny. I can allow that. I'll allow it. And then we were walking to the car, going like, whoever drove us there, going like, I hope your car's okay. Like, because I feel like it was like 2 blocks over, and this one lady still sticks with my mind. Is she was laying in a doorway of a business, like a bank, like Chase Bank or something, and she was rubbing her toes in between the. Like to itch them,
the
like
handle,
where you open to go into the bank.
Remember this now,
and she's going like and I was like, oh, dude, I don't know why that got me, but for whatever reason, just like seeing her aggressive toe itch.
Who go to that Chase Bank just end up with athlete's foot and rain.
Yeah, the next morning there's like, I want to do my deposits early.
Pink eye, they got like fucking athlete's ear,
Yeah, I mean, Harpo's is definitely. I mean, Detroit's definitely a different animal, though. I would say. It's similar, but
yeah, it's more like intense. I mean, parts of East Bay that are pretty, you can be especially back like in the day more, but like Oakland and stuff.
What would you rather have?
Oakland,
cauliflower ear or athlete's ear, dude? So your athlete's ear is where your ears is
cauliflower for sure, dude. Because I know what it is.
I guess what my dog has.
Because the cauliflower is just like solid and it looks.
Could be random fungus. Athlete's ear could be random fungus.
Does
from
cauliflower ear hurt though? If it doesn't hurt, I'll take the cauliflower ear because itchy ears.
Probably have no feeling left, man. It's so like fucking blown out and just distorted.
I feel like Murray would know.
Oh, when it's all poofed out, like from fighting.
Yeah. I feel like it's like tough.
It's like hard. It gets like hard, like calcified shit in your ears to where
it's calloused
like,
ear.
You would have to get like it surgically removed. But if it doesn't hurt, I'll take that over itchy ears all day. You know what I'm saying?
This is my favorite one right here.
Cauliflower pussy, dude.
Oh shit, Chris Mahar.
No way, dude.
My man.
This Chris Mahar?
Yeah, dude.
What's up, Chris? Jesus Christ. Sorry,
you're going down on a chick. You're going down on a chicken or
dude, he's the best.
Her labias had cauliflower ear, like she had like calcium deposits in her pussy lips, dude.
Jeepers.
And she's like, she's one of those chicks that like picks things up with her pussy and shit. And she's like, that's just what happens when you do it.
Anthony's just been quiet, like kind of like, yeah, dude, fucking the town's crazy. To like, do you ever have a girl that like has a cauliflower vagina and fucking her pussy and just picks things up like it's a hand?
Somebody's comment about cauliflower pussy and it starts an idea in my head. I'm not gonna stop. Okay.
There's no beat behind it. I'm like, all right, dude. You're fucking what you're gonna rap on is cauliflower pussy.
You go to just go to spread it and you have 2 cauliflower handles that you can just grab.
Spread it.
All right.
All
It's
right.
horrid. Yeah,
Get
so
it
there you
back on
go.
track because
Anyways,
I'm totally
so-
off track. I don't know how to just take off. I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna try and pull back onto the train. Dude, go.
So basically, we're back in Detroit, and you were what were you doing?
In utero.
I
You were-
missed the professor, dude. He needs to come back from tour.
So where
I
were
know.
we in the timeline? Let's bring it
Keep
back.
us in line.
Abigail Williams, I believe.
Yeah.
That's right. Abigail Williams. Yeah, yeah.
So
So
yeah,
you did. What did you do with them? You did. How many did you record with them?
I recorded the Legend EP, which was was originally going to be a full length, and then I did some touring with them. In October, we went to the UK. We were supposed to be there for like fucking 6 or 7 weeks, which is like insane for the UK.
Just the UK. Yeah.
Because you can fucking drive from the top of the bottom of that motherfucker in like 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it got cut short though because like I don't know what happened, but like something was going on with my my left wrist. It started going numb and shit. Yeah, with
shit.
Suicide Silence. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we did the first 2 weeks were with Suicide Silence, and then we had a week off, and then the rest of it was supposed to be with Bring Me the Horizon and like one other band I can't remember. So we did like 2 or 3 shows, and then like 2 of the shows, my left hand just started going like completely numb while we were playing.
Jesus.
Yeah, like it felt like you ever like hit something like real solid with a baseball bat and it just like reverberates in your hand. That's like kind of how it felt. It was like really hard to hold the stick. I was like having to fucking like play weird and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like I need to like go home and like try to fucking like get checked out or something. I didn't have insurance or anything at the time, but it was like
Ken like, you fucking pussy, this is black metal, motherfucker. We're in fucking do black metal.
he was kind of mad, but at the same time it's like, dude, what are you gonna do? Like
Yeah. You can't feel your fucking yeah. What did it end up being after you got checked out?
Like they couldn't really tell me because like
nerve issue or something.
Yeah, like nothing really fucking like happened after that. It was weird. Like I think maybe what happened is I kind of fucking slept on it weird during like that week off that we had because we were like all fucking stuffed in a bedroom of this the dude that was driving us around for that tour. Like we stayed with him for a week, and like all fucking 6 of us were in this little tiny bedroom in this dude's flat.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I think that might have been what happened because like I had like a few times after that where it felt weird, but it never went like completely numb like it did then.
Yeah. That's scary, especially when you're playing like fast drums and stuff, and you can't feel what you're hitting.
Yeah, like I said, I was like having to hold the stick different and shit, and like having to fucking like blast and compensate and shit. It sucked.
God. So you did how many tours with them?
I think I did like 2.
Okay.
Because I did that. I did the UK tour with them. Well, most of it anyway. And then a few months later, it was like 4 months later, I want to say, they ended up touring with Dark Funeral and Enslaved. And the dude that they had sessioning at the time, he wasn't really working out. I had a buddy fucking take me down to Cleveland to go fucking hang out and shit. And like Ken was like, dude, what's the possibility of like getting you to like come and hop on and fucking like help us out? And I was like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So like coincidentally enough, the Cleveland, the city that we were, that the show was in, that's where the drummer was from. So they gave him the news after the set that night, and I met up with them in Illinois the next night, and I hadn't played drums that like entire time pretty much. I wasn't in a band at that time, like at all.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. I take that back. I was jamming with Gutrot at the time, but like that was one of the fucking million times that we got back together and broke up and got back together and broke up. but at that point, like I wasn't really fucking like I wasn't really well practiced, and I definitely hadn't played any of those songs in like fucking 4 months. So.
I think after how many breakups and remakes do you just call them hiatuses? That's really what it is. It never is really an
when
official
you're younger,
breakup.
you're not really that like adept to like being like marketing smart. You're just like the hiatus thing is like a cute way to say it. It's like a hiatus. It's fine. Like nothing's wrong here. It's all good.
We're gonna let it sit.
Yeah, we're gonna let it. Yeah, but like when you do the pissed off breakup and then have to get back together, and people are like, "What? So what's going on? You guys all good, or what's going on?" Like
I guess I should rephrase that then, because we were never like not cool with each other after the fact, like at any.
Yeah. So it is a hiatus situation.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, at some point, if we can all do it again, fuck yeah. If not, well, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
you're still fucking around with those guys and not touring, and so where do you go from there?
I met up with Abigail Williams in Illinois the next night, and I finished out the rest of that tour with them.
Was Bjorn in the band? Bjorn and stuff like that?
Yeah, Bjorn was always in the band.
Okay.
Like as far as my history goes with them, like I stayed at his house a lot when I stayed out there and shit.
He brought back Vehemence, right? Didn't he do like a Vehemence album or something?
I do believe he did. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was a cool dude.
The little bit that I checked out was really fucking good. I always really enjoyed that band. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, me too.
So
I had no idea he was in Vehemence before we toured. Me and Casey toured with Abigail Williams. I had no idea that he was in. I like had albums and stuff, and I was like, "What the?" He's all, "Yeah, I wrote a lot of it." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
It's kind of synchronistic that we're talking about Vehemence right now, because Dan and I, that was our conversation this week. He texted me. He was like, "Hey, dude, listen to Vehemence, thinking about you." And I was like, "Hey, dude, listening to Gutrot, thinking about you, having Zach on this week." That was our back and forth, right?
Nice. Whoa, that's a trip.
And then here we are right now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's a trip.
And I also said that, and for anybody who's listening, if you don't know who Vehemence is, obviously check it out. God Was Created was their first Metal Blade record, but I also, that was my follow-up to Dan, was the album before that. I forget the name of it, but it's their independent release. Joel might be able to pull it up for me pretty quick.
I have a copy of it, actually.
Boom, pull it up. Or if you got it right there,
this motherfucker.
It literally is. It's an album that I think that definitely should not be slept on. It's
called The Thoughts From Which I Hide.
No.
Like,
okay.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yep, there it is.
Oh,
dude.
damn.
That album right there. That album was before they got signed to Metal Blade. And here's some Cali Death lore right now. Is Johnny, the guitar player of Deprecated, who is on Deriding His Creation, is the guitar player on that album and God Was Created. And on that album that Zach just put up to the screen, there's maybe 4 or 5 totally deprecated Pyrexia prototype riffs sections that you're just like, yes, this is more deprecated for me.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I just found this out.
It's listen to it. It's a fucking killer record. It's pre like I said, pre Metal Blade Vehemence. I love that first Metal Blade record, but that first one before really hits the spot with me still to this day. And God Was Created.
You know what cracks me about Bjorn is like becoming friends with him on tour and stuff and hanging out with him. I was like, dude, like, what part of Europe are you from? He's like, dude, I'm from Arizona, or something. I think he was from like Arizona or something like that. Like, I thought he was like from some crazy part of Europe, like to have that kind of influence and stuff. But he was just in Arizona, bro, just hanging out,
Yeah.
I think Zach took a piss. So
it's all good. I was gonna add a little bit more to Vehemence, which was
go for it.
Anytime they played, and I'm forgetting the vocalist's name right now, but anytime they played at the Pound, dude, we were super excited, and mainly it was like their front man was really a front man, dude, and he could fucking growl, dude. He like in a live setting was just so powerful, dude. And I forget his name. I wish I had it like on the
Nate
ready.
Gearhart.
There you go, dude.
Yeah.
That guy, another slept on vocalist that I think more people should be talking about.
Yeah, he was very sick, man. Him and Andy, the drummer, and like I think there might have been another one of the Vehemence dudes. I'm not sure though. They had another band shortly after that. It was like a death metal band. They were pretty brutal too, man. They were called like He Who Binds Himself. I think.
Okay.
They were, check them out. Like they were fucking real sick. But I have like a cool little story about jamming like a couple of Vehemence songs with Bjorn and Nate.
Let's hear it, dude.
So when I was out there to record with Abigail Williams, we ended up playing this house party just because. And I think like after we got done playing, like, there wasn't anybody playing. So we're like, fuck, man, what can we do? I was like, we can do a couple of Vehement songs. I think we played like the first 2 songs from Helping the World to See.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, Nate, he was at the party and shit, so he came up, and it was Bjorn and Ken. They were playing the guitars and shit. So it was like,
rad, dude.
Yeah, it was like halfway legit.
Yeah, dude. That was actually a cool record too. I enjoyed that one, but I
love that one. Like that the production was like really weird to me at first, but like I actually like grew to love it. I really love the way the drums sound on it.
That
like
that artwork is sick.
Fucking thunderous, dude.
The artwork is sick as shit. The cover.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's the one that starts like in the hospital, somebody dies.
Yep.
Right in the beginning.
Yep. By Your Bedside. Yeah, we played
By Your
that
Bedside.
one.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's a band I had tons of fun watching multiple times at the Pound, and yeah, those albums are great. And yeah, if you like melodic death metal, that's definitely a band you should listen to if you haven't already.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, they had that European swag to them. That's why I was like, Arizona? It's like, it's just they had that fucking.
But that first one, you're
like
gonna feel way more like West Coast vibes on that first.
Yeah. The first one that wasn't on Metal Blade, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The one that Zach
had
a physical copy, which I have a physical copy too.
Oh yeah,
super stuff.
Oh yeah.
I picked that up at a.
Actually, got it from Murray.
Nice.
Yeah.
I found it at a distro randomly, and I think it was like Corpus Christi when we were touring with King Diamond. It was like this dude that had like fucking 4 or 5 tables just filled with all kinds of sick shit. I grabbed that and like Ghoul Maniacs because that was like time. Pretty much like anything that was out on Razorback, if I seen it, like I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking grab this up because they always put out sick shit.
Yeah.
God, wasn't that sick when bands were like more rare and you could like find like and like no one else could listen to this but me because I have it. Like it's like now it's like I just type it in and I'm like, we'll listen to it now. I'll listen to it right now. I'll listen to Razorback.
And I still love the feeling of being the guy who's like, check out what I found and nobody else found it yet,
Yeah.
Like check
out. You were fucking ahead of your time with a lot of shit. You showed me a lot of shit that fucking like you showed me Igor and I was like,
it's all about digging, dude.
You showed me Igor in like 2012 or something or 11. You're all like, check this out, and I was like, what the fuck is this band? Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I think I'm sure we talked about it on the show, but the reason why was just an accident because I was a Venetian Snares fan. Nice. Venetian Snares and Aphex Twin and going down those rabbit holes, and then you come across that Nostril album cover and you're like, what the fuck is this deformed fucking monstrosity that totally catches your eye, and you listen to it and you read into it and you're like, wait, this is like if a Stratosphere were to just dig into electronic music, and it's like a Stratosphere do it through a different filter, a different lens,
It's different. It's a new style of music. You know, it's like, oh shit, they made a new style. Like, but they mixed two styles and made a new style. You know,
I mean that I know I'm gonna sound all pretentious when I say that, but I don't think it's a new style. I just think
I
it's
think Igor's a new style.
I don't think
it
it's
was
new.
before Igor.
I don't think Igor's new.
Who's
I
before Igor?
don't.
I mean,
don't.
the fucking the
Bungle
breakcore,
already happened 30 years
the
ago.
breakcore
you know?
component definitely isn't fucking
Breakcore.
new.
That's new.
But,
There's a
like,
lot of new. Yeah.
But the way that he mixes like the fucking like the classical shit and like I mean
Totally.
I don't know,
It's
And
new as fuck.
No doubt. I'm just saying it is Bungle through a different filter, through a
absolutely.
different
I was
lens.
just gonna say, like, you could fucking definitely tell that fucking that dude was like a big Mr. Bungle fan, just like mixing shit and just being like really sporadic and crazy and just
I think the ideas of mixing genres and stuff was done before, but the genres that he chose to mix with Igor haven't been done before. But I think the idea that I think what Anthony's saying, like, was Casey, what's up?
You just keep going backwards and be like, oh yeah, Frank Zappa, and then keep going backwards.
I know.
It's like, dude, it's Bach, dude. Fuck you, dude.
Cartoon guys, I don't know their names.
I know, and that's like the pretentious aspect of what I'm trying to say is like me saying you can't really make a new style because it's already been done. It's all been done.
Well, but I think it's also like taking but I think it's like things can be relevant to the time though and be like in a certain way that like that's always going to be relevant like in a way like so it's like you could be like I'm the Frank Zappa of that time or like those very 70s whatever 60s 70s kind of style or like Mr. Bungle's like 90s or whatever like there's like different eras. I don't know like
I think that
I
think if you look at it like Legos, dude, because the pieces are all there's an infinite amount of pieces available to us, but the pieces already exist. So we're taking these pieces and we're putting them together, and we're sculpting something that we think is very unique. But in reality, the pieces already existed.
Because you could say Bungle's it's like this style band of their time. You can keep going backwards until it's like what Casey's saying, like until like, dude, the guy that fucking recorded the first violin is kind of like Bungle, like 150 years removed. like I don't know. You can like keep going back to like the influences of what, but like when they because Bungle took two or three, four influences and made it their own. And I feel like Igor did that with them and like made it their own. I know. It's like when you hear a new style of music, your brain's just like, at first my brain just wants to be like, I don't get it. Like I want to boomer it. Just be like, this isn't fucking CCR, brother. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? But like,
I want to be exposed to some new Lego pieces that I haven't seen,
my collection
of Lego pieces is pretty fucking big, dude. And I wanted somebody to be like, well, check this out. And I'm like, oh shit, dude. Something that I haven't.
That's sick, dude. If you're into Legos and you have a bunch of kids and shit, and you're like, dude, Legos, dude.
Legos are fucking dope. You don't fuck around with Legos.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you get to be like, take it out on your kids and be like, dude, you should get these Legos are sick.
Take a couple puffs and be like, let's make a fucking city right now, dude.
That's what my dad told me he used to do back in the days. Like, I used to just get high as shit and like build Lego castles with you.
How rad is that, dude?
I don't. Rad. I've heard of people doing that are adults. I've heard something. I can't remember.
Yeah, because it kind of like you get stoned, you kind of get like kind of childlike again. You're like, fuck yeah, you get like interested in like, fuck yeah, like let's fucking do that.
Nah,
like,
my thing is just making up games. My games are like, let's set up a toy across the room and let's roll some shit at it, and the first person to knock it down wins.
So you made it. So you're basically the bowling of the new.
Yeah,
game,
I guess that is bowling, but it's like I don't know. I like to just like show the kids that they could just make some shit up, dude. Grab this and that, put that there, try and hit it with the other thing as far as many
it's
times.
Constantly just like setting something up like in a different manner, but like trying to hit it. You're all making up games. It's like just get this figure and just throw a rock at it, dude.
Just be a caveman and throw shit at things.
That's fun. I mean, that's redeeming as fuck when you hit something like when you like
or simply doing like a fucking paper plane race.
Oh,
deal,
dude, paper
It's
planes as a kid. Jesus.
It's so crazy to watch young kids be like, wait, this is how you do it. I'm doing it myself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then watching the end result happen and be like, I made that. And it's just a
It's
piece
like
of
what we were talking
paper,
about earlier
dude.
with music and stuff. Like when your mom played you a certain song, like you watch your kids making a plane, you're like, oh, dude, that used to be the shit. Like, and watching them get all excited about it and like
Yeah.
watch them yeah, that's sick. I like that. Anyways,
Anyways, get me out of this.
so all right, so Abigail, you were in another band, right? You were in is that Shit Life after that, or
Yeah, that was like a few years after. I had a couple of bands in between that didn't really like, they were just with friends and shit, and like, we tried to get it together, but it just ultimately and didn't work out. But one of those bands that ended up like becoming Shit Life. It was a black metal band. Me and Chris, the guitar player singer from Shit Life, he was playing bass at the time. And like originally, like I don't know, man, like a long time ago, back in the Black Dahlia days, I had this idea because I always wanted to play fucking grindcore. You know what I mean? Like that was always like
the
that was
initial
my
influence?
shit because of fucking
Yeah.
Pig Destroyer.
Yeah.
And there was never anybody around that like was up to snuff with like writing that kind of shit. Let alone being able to play it. So I was like, I had this idea, like maybe I can learn how to play guitar and fucking like shit. Maybe I could. Oh, okay. My screen went black for a
Real
second.
Shit Life.
So I thought maybe I could do this band by myself, So I tried to learn how to play guitar and it didn't work out. Like I said earlier, I'm dyslexic as fuck, dude. It's hard for me to learn shit.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was like an idea that I had, and then years later, I started jamming in this black metal band, and Chris, he was like, yeah, let's play grind, dude. So he started playing guitar out of necessity of doing this grindcore project, and that was Shit Life. And this is like 2009. So yeah, started doing that in fucking August of 2009, and that was like my main thing up until earlier this year. I had to quit earlier this year.
Yeah.
That's such a good name for a band, though. I don't know. It's as one word, just Shit Life.
For me, it screamed grindcore, man. It was just like,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be the fucking fastest, like, heaviest, most intense, like shit,
Yeah, I remember you sending it to me on
it a lot.
I forget what platform, but you're like Shit Life, and I was like, because we had a local band in Santa Cruz that like had the name, but the band wasn't that good, but it was called Crap. and like they had bumper stickers that said, "You listen to Crap," and I was like, "Dude, you guys are killing it with the marketing. That's fucking great." Like I just like they make a bunch of crap jokes, and I was like, and remember you were like, "I'm playing in Shit Life now." And I'm like, and I was like, I think you hit me up in a time where I was like actually kind of really depressed, and I'm like, I fucking love it, dude. This is fucking, like hit home for me. I loved that whole thing, and so I mean, like, how many albums did you put out? What did you do with them as far as like touring? Did you tour or anything?
No, we never really toured. Like just last year, we actually fucking like got out of the state and played like consecutive shows elsewhere. We like rented a plane and shit. We were never really in a position to do the touring thing, unfortunately. But we started trying to branch out last year and shit. And once I did Maryland Death Fest with Shock Narcotic last year, when I got home, I wasn't fucking playing right, and I still like haven't been able to play right since. Like I just feel not comfortable when I sit down. I don't, just nothing lines up right. It's hard to explain.
Is it kind of like a motor skills thing that you're kind of like tripping on? Like
it's definitely like attributed to this fucking neurological disorder that I have called focal dystonia.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like, and knowing like how in between like what they're supposed to sound like and stuff, and your brain's like, yeah, I have the right idea, but your arms maybe aren't doing it correctly or something.
Yeah, like my brain's telling my body what to do, but my body is just somewhere along the lines the translation's getting lost, and the signals are scrambled.
That's what
like when it first started, it used to just be like my left leg and ankle. But over the years, like sporadically, I would just have periods of time where like I couldn't fucking play blast beats, and that's like the main component of it. You know, I couldn't get my hands to line up with my feet. You know, and like I couldn't split foot, I couldn't hyper blast, I couldn't do anything, and this would just like happen, and it would happen for sometimes it'd be a couple days, sometimes it'd be a couple weeks, sometimes it'd be a couple months.
But would you have days like in between that like all of a sudden like it would line up and then another wake up the next day and it wouldn't line up? Like as far as like blast beats and stuff?
Like, not really, because like my situation with practicing has always been like I've had to go somewhere else to play my actual drum set. Where I live right now, I do have an electric kit, like I have a basement, but I wasn't like really trying to practice as much because when this shit started happening, it was like discouraging as fuck, you know. So I didn't want to play, and like the less I played, like the less it was happening. So like the better I felt, you know. But,
definitely.
Yeah. Just like since last year, just shit hasn't been right, and that's why I had to give shit life up because I was holding things up. We were in the middle of writing a new album, and just shit just wasn't working out, and I felt bad because like I knew, Chris it was kind of fucking starting to bother him and shit, which is understandable because it's been a work in progress for like fucking 2 years now, maybe even 3. I don't know,
Yeah.
But yeah, not to stray like too far away from.
I mean, not to stray, but like, have you gotten that like any diagnosis or something, or as far as?
In 2016, I was officially diagnosed with focal dystonia. It started happening in 2014.
Isn't that what Christian has?
Yes, yeah, in his fretting hand.
Oh, okay.
That's actually what I've been thinking about this whole time. Zach talking about that. I was like, that's what sounds like similar shit to what Christian was talking about.
Thing,
so
yeah,
it's
but
exactly
he had the gloves and stuff. Right.
Crazy.
So for you though, it was more affecting because the left from the right, like having to do a rhythm. I mean, same with him then, right? Because that was. But what do the gloves do then? I forget.
The gloves.
It's basically like a form of like sensory deprivation in that area. So like, so the brain has to like start. It's not exactly like the same feeling as it was like without the gloves. So it's able to operate a little smoother, or at least like in a way that he can work around it.
Trip, dude.
Yeah, it's a really like weird disorder. But it's not really that uncommon for me.
Why don't you like invent some kind of like power glove shit? We were talking about power gloves. You can get like a left-handed power glove that you get that
shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I don't even know what my particular issue is right now.
Goes all the way up past to the elbow for some reason, just fucking everything below.
I feel like
biomechanical.
Like you have the dystonia. I don't want to repeat it, but I feel like it's a different genre of it, maybe because it's like a drummer version of it, or it's the same disorder, but it's like because the instrument's different that it affects you completely differently. Than
I was doing
fretting.
The power glove thing as a joke, dude. Come on.
No, I know. No, I'm actually tripping on it. I'm actually super. I mean, interested to know about it because it's.
No, I know it is fascinating, dude. That and actually unfortunate for somebody like you or Christian to have an ailment like that.
To like know your instrument so well and like be confused by it, like what the fuck is going on? Like to go from like I know what a blast beat is.
How it starts is just like out of fucking nowhere. Like I remember.
So what was the first time you realized what happened? What were we doing?
I remember it clear as day, dude. I was doing a show with Gutrot. We were playing with our buddies. Battlecross. It was like it might have been like one of their album. It might have been an album release show. Shannon Lucas was playing for him at the time.
Okay.
Well, I was fucking geeked to play in front of him and shit. I've known Shannon for a long time, man. I met him like
I love Shannon.
Same here. He's such a good dude. I'm a fucking amazing drummer. But yeah,
and straight edge till death.
So we're playing and just like my fucking doubles aren't coming out, and like that was mainly what it was at the time. It was just like. It was just.
Were you thinking was your brain going to like equipment failure at the time to like kind of?
Originally, yeah. Like I was like, oh fuck, my trigger settings are fucked up or whatever, even though I haven't adjusted them in fucking like 2 years or whatever,
Something weird happened.
I messed with that. I was like messing with my seat height, fucking everything. So
Totally.
I think that contributed to a lot of the earlier like confusion that I had. But after a while, I started noticing that my left leg was just kind of doing whatever it wanted to do when I was attempting to do certain parts, which was when I was trying to do double strokes and when I was trying to do hyper blasts. But the weird thing is I never had a problem doing split foots like at that time. Somebody explain that,
Yeah. No, totally.
It's the same motion, but
and you've done it for years and years and years, and all of a sudden you can't do it.
Yeah.
So
once I started realizing that there was something else, it wasn't me just sucking, because that's what I thought it was for a long time. Dan Osborne, he was actually the first person that he gave me a name for like what was going on. He was like, you know what, man, that sounds exactly like I had the same thing going on. It's called focal dystonia.
Holy
and
shit.
I started looking it up, and I was like, holy shit, man, everything that I read was like spot on with exactly how it felt. And so like right away, I like after that, I knew what was going on.
There's no way of pulling out of it or getting over. Well,
is there any physical therapy kind of stuff for that, or is there?
I mean, there's so far there's not anything that's like tried and true. There's all kinds of weird shit. I mean, when I had gone, I had to go to a doctor to get a referral to a neurologist, and then my neurologist sent me to a movement specialist. My movement specialist, he suggested like Botox injections.
Interesting.
I guess in some cases that works. Like if you inject the affected area, it's like another form of like sensory deprivation. It forms the brain to kind of form new neural pathways to operate, but it's not always successful.
Right.
The dude told me he was working with a girl that was playing cello, and she had it like, here. It's real common for cello players and violin players to get it, here, as always. So she got it, and then she ended up not being able to play at all. Just for like the month and a half or 2 months or however long it lasts for. You have to get them like every so often. But for that time period after she got it, like she couldn't play at all.
Do you think the cause maybe is like a lack of blood flow or something? Because like a cello player, I could see them doing this and like holding a cello forever. It's like taking a shit for
stimulation of that area though too.
It's like taking a dump for 2 hours a day. Like, your legs go numb, and you're depriving your legs of blood though. You're depriving, like when you stand up, you're like, you're like a deer, like a baby deer when you stand up. And if you deprive like a certain part of your body blood, maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to make fucking a prognosis up that doesn't make any sense. But no, it seems, so cello players get it from doing this though, you're saying. Like that's
the embouchure, I believe it's called.
And they Botox it to kind of like maybe get more room for the blood to flow or something. That's the only reason I could think.
It's more of just a way for it's like a masking, like a way to mask the muscle area. Because like basically what's happening with focal dystonia is the messages that are being to the particular area that's affected aren't making it there. So like there's like involuntary contractions and shit that are trying to like compensate for like what your brain's telling it to do, but it's not able to do.
Right.
Damn. Fucking stupid.
It's like a fucking satellite dish that has a fucked up signal.
Yeah, man. And like over the years, it's just become like a fucking like a short circuit for me. Like there would be times where I'd be practicing and like I'd be playing fine for a song, and then like the next song it was just like I'm learning how to fucking play drums all over again.
Jesus.
Damn, man.
Yeah, it's like a coordination goes out all of a sudden. You're like, and you have it down. You've had it down, for 10 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, that must be confusing as fuck.
It is.
Yeah, not only that, just not even about drums, just in life, imagining telling your foot to do something and it doesn't do it. That's
Yeah.
a weird, eerie, unique situation I don't think I've ever felt.
Well, that's why I brought up taking a dump. Was like sometimes when, like, if I sit too long and my legs are numb, and I know now because I've done it before. I'm like, oh, whatever. They're a little tingly, but it's fine. And I'll step and my knee will like buckle inside because it doesn't know to like
All right.
to give. But I know. But seriously though,
I
I'm
know
like,
what you're
it, like,
talking
it
about.
freaks
But you
me
know
out.
how to walk. You can get yourself out of the bathroom. You still have the brain.
Well, I have to
signal
stand
from-
there. I have to stand there and like
You can
fucking.
still walk, dude. I
All right,
know your brain will
maybe
be
it's
able
about
to
time to wrap
like-
it up, guys.
Oh.
You know, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
Whatever. You guys don't take
Yeah.
shits.
I got
But
it.
No, you would be able to
if you
walk yourself out of the bathroom.
Casey, I love you.
I've had legs that
falling
fell asleep.
Casey's had a shit
We're
life last
talking
night.
about legs falling asleep. Casey's whole
Yeah,
body
yeah.
is falling asleep.
Everybody's serving time
Casey-
on a shit life sentence, dude.
No,
Hard-
he had to stay up till 2 a.m. and then go to work all day today, and he's like trying to do the pod, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck off if you can't make it. That's like brutal, dude. I know exactly. Fecal dystonia.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Speak to this Sonia.
All right, dude.
Fucking Mahar. I love you, buddy. All right, I'll change this to that. This.
Yeah.
That. Okay. But yeah, it's like one of those like you stand up and you're like, I know my muscles can work right now, but then I've like almost fucking hyperextended my knee. I know the dump thing is funny or whatever, but like I've stood up like, yeah, I can walk. Like I know they're a little numb. I can walk, and my knee just won't, like, all of a sudden, like, it won't give any strength to it, and I've almost like fucked up my leg, like just walking out of a bathroom. I mean, but your body,
it's
you're like,
more
you know,
so-
your
it's
body
more
is.
so like saying I want to take a right step and then your leg doesn't move.
Yeah. No, I know. It's one of those like, have you seen those magician people that like they'll put a fake hand next to a real hand, and they'll like they'll have their hand behind a wall,
And your brain
and
will
they'll do a thing where they'll pinch your hand at the same time as they pinch the fake hand,
and you can
and
have
they're
a
like they feel
sensation.
it, and then and all of a sudden they'll stab it, and people are like, ah, and they'll like freak out, like think their hand stabbed, you know. It's like they obviously know it's a fake hand, but yeah, it's like your brain
That's
just
what
going
I'm
like not
saying.
making the connections of like what's going on. Like I know what I want to do, but the arm isn't doing it, or the whatever's not doing it. That's a trip, man.
Yeah,
That's such a
it's
trip.
weird, man, because like when I first started reading about it too, it's not just like music shit. Like there's been cases reported of people that fucking like can't walk forwards but can walk backwards.
Oh, I've seen that shit.
Yeah, it's like weird shit like that, man, and of course I fucking get it,
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I remember the video of the person that could, like, when they walk forwards, they like have a freak out, but then they can only walk backwards and they're just chill. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, it's like it's just a misrouting of information. It's like to do the thing you've always known to do, it routes it like it's like shoots it, and like something fucks up the initial like thought or the transmission, and it just shoots it other places and stuff.
Yeah, it
But
gets
like if
lost
you do
in
the
translation. Yep.
There's certain points on the grid that are like obscured, and then the path to the thing gets lost.
I know, it's like figuring out brains, like Jesus Christ, it's so crazy. Like what brains,
dude,
like one little thing could go like
and
weird.
What's so crazy? It's like we look at computers and shit, and how the hard drive's all nice and secure and protected and shit. Our brains are attached to little tiny fibers inside of like floating inside of this other thing that if the vehicle is dumb enough, will rock that thing off of other hard things all day. Fibers are lost and things get mushed around and shit. And
I wonder if like if you never headbanged, that if you would not have, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like things like
headbanging alone, dude. We've all damaged ourselves just by, but it's an involuntary thing when it comes to death metal.
it's worth the risk. At the time, you're like you can't, like, there's like videos online of like people going like, all right, try not to headbang to this, and they're like it's like so a song funny, that they love. They're just like sitting there going like they're like trying not to. Yeah. I know, it's fucking hilarious. I mean,
it is.
It's a involuntary. It's something that we need. Yeah, the brain is fucked. I'm also like it's like the computers are very mapped out. So we're gonna like, okay, this is happening. Okay, so it's probably this part of the motherboard, and they can like find out and just go like, all right, this chip is fucked up. Let's just put a new chip in here, and then you're all good. But with the brain, it's like this fucking mush of just like things we don't understand, and it's insane. Like you can't just replace a chip in there and just be like, yeah, I can see what's going on. It's the motor skills. Let's go and it's. I mean, for me, so I have really bad tinnitus. I brought it up 1,000 times on here, but I'm like deaf in my right ear, and I have really bad tinnitus. And the only way I can describe it is my eardrum's asleep. It feels like it's asleep. It feels like like it has pins and needles inside my head is what it feels like. Yeah. So it's terrible. But but the thing is, the cool thing about the brain is that like the first 6 months was like a fucking nightmare. It was I couldn't sleep. I couldn't, it's like I was reading articles like, oh, people commit suicide at like a 70% higher ratio when they have the because like it's just a ringing in your ear that's like screaming at you constantly. It's doing it right now that I'm thinking about it, but I usually don't think about it and it's not there. It's like your brain about 3 or 4 months in will just kind of like block. It's like you hear it all the time. Like it's like if you do any drug or you do any kind of like
if you orgasm a bunch, then you start to you forget about it. So you just started jerking off a bunch, right?
No, it's like no, that'd be. I mean, the similar thing would be like if you're jerking off all the time. It's like coming's just like I don't know, like drinking water. It's not like coming anymore. It's like a thing you're doing all the time. It's like
drinking
anything.
Water can be orgasmic after.
It can if you're like super dehydrated.
Really want it, yeah.
But it's to me it's it's just your brain catches on. Your brain catches on and goes like, all right, well this thing's all crazy. Let's just not focus on anymore. Like you got it all the time. Let's go ahead and move the attention somewhere else.
People with floaters in their eyes, your eyes like relearn how to see.
Yeah.
Without it, or
like it's weird even talking about it. Like even talking about the tinnitus thing right now. It's ringing so loud right now because I have not focused on it. Yeah. And I can't hear out of this. I don't know why I put a headphone here. This is like the same. This is the same. Like it doesn't matter. It just looks, I guess, cooler to not be like fucking like this or something. But yeah, no, your brain just acclimates, and figures it out and just goes like, all right, well, that's not something we need to worry about anymore because you're used to it. And it'd be like it's like breathing, like, and even like I had like strep throat a month or two ago, just involuntary swallowing spit. Like I didn't even think I was not even paying attention to that. But when I had like pins and needles in my throat, and every time I swallowed, I'd punch my desk as hard as it was like the most painful thing, and I would just punch myself, punch my desk, something because it was like I had to spit because I didn't want to swallow sweat, dude. Swallow spit.
Swallow surge.
Yeah. But no, like just to like swallow in a conversation, like yeah, totally, dude. Like that, like I got that down to a science of how much I do that, like how much we all do it, and we don't even think about it, Like it's
what
the
you're
brain
saying
just
swallowing is a bad thing.
No, I'm saying that like if you have like pins and needles or like a fucking like a razors in your throat, then you're gonna pay attention to how much you do it that you don't even think about it because your brain's already doing it for you.
Yeah,
it's like breathing involuntary. Anyways, I go on these rants tonight. But,
you have it's all.
But
good,
I'm just keeping the words flowing, dude.
No, it's all good. Word flows where it's at.
You're like, I can't get the words out.
Shock Narcotic is a really fucking good project, dude. And it's
let's talk about that.
Basically, a super group, dude. Like,
of sorts, yeah.
Rattle off all the people involved.
What's that?
I said, tell us all the people who were involved. See,
okay, so the singer is Sean Knight. He sings for a band called Child Bite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
they're weird, but like in the fucking best possible way.
Yeah,
like they're weird as fuck, but like in the best possible way.
I love
anybody that likes weird music should check them out.
I'm down.
The guitar player Jeff Tuttle, he used to play guitar for Dillinger Escape Plan a while ago.
Fuck yeah!
On Operation Paralysis. What's that?
Honestly, like I'm not familiar with his era. From what I understand, they didn't really let him be involved with the writing process, really.
Mm-hmm. But I just was looking online. He was involved in that album or that era at least.
Right on. Yeah, I'll be totally honest, dude. Like I lost interest in him when I I think it was Miss Machine came out. Like
Really?
I love everything up to that.
Okay.
You know what's funny with me with them, because my brother showed me them. He showed me those two in 1999 or 2000. He showed me Calculating Infinity and Chaosphere. He was like, check it. I was listening to Fear Factory at the time. I was listening to Slayer, Fear Factory. He's all, dude, this is the new shit. And at the time I was like, this is insane. And then I got into it, like it took me a while to get into it. And then I was like, you know what? I don't like any of that new Dillinger stuff. And then at 38, I was like, maybe 37. I got it. I like literally like after they had retired and shit, I'm like, oh, I really like this stuff. I used to
I can't
hate.
diss any Dillinger release. I can't, but I will always say that Calculating Infinity and
That was such
Under
a
the
fucked
Running
up album.
Board and the self-titled,
Yeah.
the first 3 releases, which is that the 2 EPs and Calculating.
Just Calculating to come out when it did. I mean, obviously, no one was like fucking exploding over it, but that kind of music that came out at the time
for me, dude.
Yeah.
It was
I
very,
like,
very unique when I came across it. I
Yeah.
have to thank Relapse for the millionth, bajillionth time on this podcast for putting out those compilations.
Oh yeah, the contaminated.
The contaminated compilations were very, very crucial component to
all those compilations, Nuclear Blast,
exposing
Earache,
to, and they were always like, we'll give you 2 songs per band, so it'd be like these 30 to 40 song compilations where it was like, oh, you like that first Agoraphobic Nosebleed song? Well, we're gonna hit you with another one a little bit later on in the compilation that's even better than that one, Oh, you know, 2 Cephalic songs and 2 Pig Destroyer songs, like double disc compilations that you would find for $5-$6 at Amoeba.
And just you could take a shot at it rather than like buying the whole album. You could like just take a shot at the fucking compilation and see what you like rather than like, I like the artwork on this and just like fail at home like had so much promise in the artwork, but like with those kind of things were gold when we were kids because you could listen to 10 bands.
Totally, dude. And then you just start digging. That's what it is.
Yeah.
All these new holes to start digging in, dude, and you uncover these treasures.
I know we keep like every episode. I think we bring that up.
I know, we're such old. How much we miss? Now, dude.
Just like you remember that Zach going to the record store and just being like,
dude,
it's like that.
Yeah, we were driving around up in Rockland area and shit, and Bryce was like, I found a record store for you, and there it was right there. And I forgot.
What was it called? Was it no, I know. I used to go there all the time. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like they have street lights basically there. Like
basically,
still, they have
so she was like, I found one for you.
It's not Spencer's, but it's
so now I'm literally so stoked for the first time in a very long time. I'm about to go to a record store for the first time in a very, very long time.
Damn it. I used to go to them all the time. I know exactly. There's like 5 of them, but there's probably like 1 or 2 of them now. And by the way, now that we have kind of like some Anthony DeJoel time, I was talking to, even though I don't give a fuck, probably not supposed to talk about it, but Shara's, she's looking at SEC. She wants to move, her and Jared want to move to SEC. And I was like,
so awesome.
And I was telling them like, because I know her profession she got into, and I know that like, Jared's doing his like work from home stuff. So I was like, well, for their deal, I was like, Rockin' and Roseville is like the spot. Where you need to, and I know Anthony's moving there and stuff, and he's trying to Joe Rogan us and make everyone move to Austin, Texas, aka Rockland. But no, but the same. I've had that thought for a long time. It's like, and the fact that your dad did that first and moved to Rockland, I was like, fucking good choice, brother. That's a great choice.
He's actually the Joe Rogan of the situation.
I was if I had money, I would have been that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no,
like, if I had money to like buy a house, like it's insane, dude. Like California. I mean, how like do you own a house, or are you renting, Zach, or like buying?
I live in a townhouse in a cooperative, so like I bought into this place. It's like a fucking really low level of ownership. I don't really own
yeah.
it, but like I kind of.
That's higher than me. I've only rented my whole life, so I'm just like, yeah. That's
But
because I know.
I also
Go
work
ahead.
here too, like where I live.
Oh,
I've
cool.
been working here for like fucking 15 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So on top of cost of living, are you getting any kind of wage on top of it, or is it just kind of like you're working for your place to live?
Oh no, I definitely I pay like so where I live is based on your income, and I pay like the most you can pay like to live here. I don't get any kind of like discounts or fucking benefits or anything because I'm an employee. Because because I fucking like bought into my my unit like outright. I didn't get it as like a maintenance unit.
Okay. That's cool. I mean, we're California, like for where me and Anthony are right now. It's like if you want to read the comedy papers, just go to Zillow and type in our fucking area codes. It's like, oh, you want a 600 square foot place? It's like, dude, it can be yours with a 6.5 interest rate at $850,000. It could be yours. Like if you want to pay like $7,000 a month, dude, it can definitely be. But there's like up north in Sacramento, it's like half, probably around half for what you get. And like it sucks because
it's getting a little bit higher than half, but it's still
I mean, I look at it every day with Rockland and stuff, and it's a little bit higher. I mean, yeah, a little bit, but like Jesus, around here it's like, but that I have that mortgage
so
calculator
new there. It's fresh. Everything's still being built.
Yeah, it's worth like here it's like, oh, you want to buy a piece of shit for fucking it's built in 1962, dude. Not that old. it's it's only $800,000, but it's like 700 square feet with one parking space, dude. We're gonna hook you up with that. It's like it gets like to the point where, and with like I have this interest calculator. I've been tripping on it like the last week, so that's why I'm bringing it up. It's like it literally goes like, oh, you're paying like $900,000 in interest, and like
in the master bedrooms, 10 by 11.
It's like, dude, it's like it's not doable. It's like, I mean, unless you can get some sort of a deal, like in this, like Pacifica, San Francisco, Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is like the highest, right? Where I'm living right now in Aptos, it's like the cheapest house is like 1.5 billion, I think. Like it's ridiculous. It's like that's like a $9,000 a month rent. Like if you want to, I mean, for your mortgage, it's just getting to the point where it's like, all right, dude, well, we gotta leave now. Like you got us, we gotta leave now. Like I mean, Anthony bought a spot in Pacifica like during the downturn. yeah, like during the best time to buy it, and it's like 10 times more now or something ridiculous, right?
Yeah, but it's actually what I've been looking at is in that area, things have been coming up actually kind of lower than it was when I sold back.
Well, it's because the interest rates are up
so high.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that
I got out at the right time.
I didn't know that like that little calculator I had. Sorry to take it on a fucking mortgage rant, but like at like 2%, it was like you pay fucking $500,000 or $400,000 total in interest, but then you go to 6%. It's like, dude, you pay like $1,300,000 in interest, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know like such a small percentage. Like you're paying like it's literally every percent's like doubling almost. I'm like, okay, I didn't know it was like that. So the math behind it, I'm just like, all right, well, I get why everyone bailed because you can't live here. Unless like you own a fucking corporation. Anyways,
if I was
California's a beautiful place.
Last thing I'm going to say on this, if I was ever going to have space for the amount of humans that I've made, I needed to get the fuck out of there when I could. And I did.
I remember me and you were talking about it. You were like, what should I do? And I was like, dude, fucking leave. Like, you gotta leave, dude. What the fuck? Like
I love our this is our thing, dude, is like we were talking about nostalgia earlier, that's like the main thing that keeps us from leaving. Zach's in his hometown.
Exactly.
And that's kind of was like in the question that I asked in the beginning, because I'm uprooting from it and I'm starting, I'm having this slow transition, working here still, going up there. I've had this like long-term transition stage where now I'm like okay with it because I'm starting to see the differences of what it was versus what it is now.
Yeah, it's now rich people have it now. You're like, all right, well,
yeah, things are different. There's
like 50 to 80% of the people that you grew up with are gone. Like it's like everyone's gone.
Anybody anymore, you know?
Yeah. I used to get on the phone with this guy back like in 10 years ago. Like I'd call him and he'd be at the grocery store and it'd be like a fucking like a signing, not even a signing, but just like everyone he ever knew in his life would be at Safeway. Like he'd be like, "Oh, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? Oh, hey, what's up?" Blah, blah. And now it's just probably like everyone just like, "Oh, fuck this! I need to like actually get a house with more than like one bedroom."
Yeah,
it sucks. But anyways, I'm ranting again.
we all. Well, that's what this show's about, dude. Is ranting.
Yeah. Well, dude, fucking Zach, man.
Yeah, this is
fucking
fun,
really
dude.
cool to fuck. I mean, we're hitting the 3-hour mark, but it's been fucking rad to have you on. And you've always been like I was talking about this pre-podcast when I first got to actually meet you. I guess that was at the roller rink, right? And
I
then
think
in Michigan.
like, we might even have fucking met like in California, like
Okay.
prior to, like.
Did you ever play the Pound?
Yeah, a bunch. Yeah.
Any Pound.
That's probably
anytime we came through the Pound, we were kicking it for sure.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah,
I mean,
I always made sure like Dan Kenny was on the guest list and shit, and like, however many fucking pluses he needed, man.
Yeah, that's probably a plus.
We were the pluses.
I was one of those pluses. Yeah,
probably. That's probably how we first met.
That's what's up, dude.
Totally, that makes sense to me. That actually kind of sparks a memory.
Because the Cannibal tour was that was where you and Dan clicked, right?
Yep. Yeah, but he was doing merch for Severed Savior. That was like his first tour.
Was it Cephalic too on that?
No,
These of Flesh.
They weren't even on it either.
No, Severed.
He was doing merch for Severed Savior.
Okay.
Cannibal.
And shit
the Busfire one. The Busfire one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the wall from that.
Oh damn, Jesus. But yeah, man. No, I mean, you're like one of those faces that I just like see, and I get like, it's like you're like the Sade song with my mom. Like you're a nostalgic face that makes me like, because I look at myself now and versus when I was like playing like touring and doing stuff as like two different people a little bit. You know, like it's like disconnected. And quick story, and I swear I'll stop talking. Yesterday I was driving and I stopped in traffic and I'm driving this gray, like same car, same year, same model, and I look behind in my rearview mirror and just the same car hits the median at 60 miles an hour and just goes bam, and just like goes like, and I'm like, and I'm in traffic, so I'm like, what the fuck is? I'm looking at it, it's the same car that I have, and like the same year, the same model, and I'm like, I didn't tell you about this, I know, and I like I look back in the rearview mirror and I was just all like, what the fuck's going? Like I didn't understand what was happening. So I was like, is that me or something? Like what's going? Like I had no idea, but I realized what happened was some dude was probably on his phone, didn't realize traffic had stopped. He's going 60 and then decided to hit the median instead of me yesterday and just fucking nailed it and bounced back and hit other cars and shit. And I was like, I looked back and it looked like a YouTube video in my rearview mirror. I was like, it didn't look real. I was like, and I looked at it for a second. I was like, damn.
So that's
I was like, what the fuck was that?
Wild, dude. So it's the same color, same model, car, everything.
It was funny. My fiance was coming the opposite direction. Like she was just doing her work stuff. And I was like, told her what happened. I was like, it took me 3 minutes to process like what just happened. Like the person almost just like rear-ended me at 60 miles an hour and they decided to take the fucking high road. Luckily, I would not be here. You know, I was like fucking tripping. And she took a picture of the accident going the opposite direction, and because it just stopped everything forever. And it was kind of like I don't know how I was trying to link it before, but maybe I was just trying to sneak that story in. But that was it was scary, man.
You're just making me think about the one time that I parked I was parked at a place and then an identical version of my car pulled up next to me. Dude, this is
your brain's just all like, what?
This is no bullshit. It pulled up next to me. The same exact color, same year Explorer. Our license plates were 1 digit off.
What?
7 HLY
Don't don't. Yeah.
All right. Well, basically, all right. Mine was like it was all the same. The first
Your all
number,
social security number's one off. You're all
when you look
4
at a
1
license
3
plate,
2.
you look at a license plate. It's fucking not. I'm not going to give away my current license plate, but it was literally all the same. The first 5, and then the last one. Mine was 2. Theirs was 3.
Did you buy a car like next to another guy buying a car, and you're getting the same car?
We may have literally bought like the same car from the same dealership, went to the DMV at the same time, and it got fucking registered 1 digit later.
Jesus,
Like how? That's
Trippy
crazy,
as
bro.
shit.
Like we should start a business.
We should start a family, brother. Like,
all right, we're just
all right, Zach.
This
again, man. Yeah, like meeting you for the first time, I was like fucking starstruck, and you've always been that face that I kind of like, just like fuck yeah, that's the dude that I was like, because I have those dudes, throughout my life when I was playing music that I was like, fuck yeah, that's that guy. That guy is sick. Like, and meeting you for the first time, you were super chill, and we just fucking were friends right off the bat, and I'm super glad you came on the podcast, man. It's been fucking awesome.
Oh, I'm happy to have been able to have the opportunity to do it, and I appreciate it again.
Hell yeah, man.
And
well,
hope that that shit works out with your limbs and shit, dude.
Oh, I was.
Okay, I thought you were frozen too, Anthony. I thought
when things freeze, I just like stop doing anything because I don't know if it's me or you guys.
So Zach, you froze. You're like, he's all. I hope that shit gets better. You're like, oh, and you just froze for a second, and then I saw Anthony freeze because I froze too because I was like, was that me or is that who's going on?
Yeah, that's what you do when you freeze. You're just like, if it's mine, I'm just gonna shut up because they might still be doing some shit that isn't gonna translate to the people who watch it.
That's where this came from.
So I was saying I just recently discovered that Victor Wooten has focal dystonia, and he was dealing with it for like 15 or 20 years before he fucking knew what was going on.
Wow.
So he started working with this doctor. He read this book written by this doctor that had focal dystonia, and like somehow kind of figured her way out of it. So she started helping like musicians and like anybody else that had it.
Sort of therapy.
Yeah, it's like some mindfulness. I think the term is brain spotting.
Okay.
Like a weird newish anyway, kind of like technique. But yeah, I just bought the book and I haven't like gotten all the way into it yet. But if it helped him, he said he experiences like way less dystonic symptoms now. Like it still happens every once in a while, but like it's not like it was for him. So if it helped him, why can't it help me?
When I was a kid, I wanted to wiggle my ears, and they didn't wiggle when I want them to wiggle. Like for a long time, dude. I just was talking to my niece and nephew about this yesterday, but this is so funny because it's just making me think about it again. I wanted to wiggle my ears like Alfalfa from the Little Rascals, and I couldn't do it. But I in my head was trying. There'd be times where I'd just be sitting there, probably staring at the wall. My mom, like, what the fuck is my son doing right now? And I'm just trying to wiggle my ears. And at one point, finally, it clicked, and I can wiggle my ears today. I can individually wiggle them too. I can do the left.
You can individually wiggle?
Yeah, I can wiggle one side. I can wiggle the other. and I remember the moment that it clicked, where it started to happen, and I'm like, there was some connection that had to have been made, right?
Zach's just all like, dude, it's sick, dude. My drums are fucked up. You're talking about wiggling your ears.
Maybe if you try hard enough, you can make the connection again.
Oh yeah, so he's not trying hard enough, is what you're saying?
Maybe you need to fucking man up. That no, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
No, he's kind of right. I haven't really been playing at all since I had to fucking like quit shit life. I've been like just jamming like a couple times a week. Just to keep up on the new shock shit because I do have to go record it. at some point.
And the fact that it's a mental thing in the beginning, now that you're like, that it's a thing that you have to deal with, that like can
You could probably make the
interweave
connection.
within itself where
I mean,
not
you probably
only
could make
that,
it,
but it's
just
also
be like,
like
okay,
you can
this
get into
arm's
the
off. This arm's like behind in time now, so I have to like send the signal earlier or something. Like, there's got to be some. I don't know.
or
I'm not a
it's at least getting away from the discouragement of knowing that it's a thing there in the first place before you even start.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's probably, I'm sure Zach is feeling that, like the
knowing it going into it.
not wanting to sit down on the kit just based on the fact
Yeah.
that's a hurdle.
Yeah, it's definitely like fucking made me develop like a negative attachment to like actually playing.
Yeah.
So like it's like I was saying earlier, it's like the less I play, the less I fucking feel like shit because of it. So like the better I feel,
Yeah.
Like I've stopped like practicing to like progress in any kind of fucking way like a long time ago. Just I got to a point to where it was just like, okay, I guess this is just where I'm at,
Sustainability, just like this is where I'm gonna be. Yeah. Rather than like I'm not gonna learn any new tricks. Like this is what I got. This is
and then even after a fucking while, like that started to fucking like kind of like degrade. So that's why I had to quit Gutrot in the first place. That's why I had for the last time. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely done now, unless unless Brian like gets a drummer to do it, but he doesn't want to. I told him like fucking, I was like, dude, get Matt Kilner. He's the guy. If there was ever anybody to like do that band after me, it would definitely be him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, god damn it. I mean, I wish I can fucking give advice or something, but that sounds like it's just a fucking I've never heard of it. So it's something that's like it must be so discouraging. Like it's for me like trying to hear out of my right ear. Like I can't do it. There's nothing I can do.
It's kind of like that. It's just like you're up here like you're like I'm telling myself what to do, but down here it's just like I don't know what the fuck's going on.
So fucking annoying. It must be so annoying. Jesus Christ.
But that's why I'm taking a break. I'm just trying to fucking chill and then like like get my fucking my shit together and be inspired to actually sit down and have fun playing again and like try to fucking keep doing stuff and shit because like when like when I first found out that like that's what it was, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to stop playing, like and I did for a while. I took a break, like I took like a fucking break for like 4 months and like I started messing around with like doing breakcore and shit like that, and that kind of like re-sparked my desire to play drums again some way. I don't know. It was just like I don't know. I can't really explain it.
Well, it would probably suck to do, but like I mean not suck, but like maybe just I don't know, I'm all giving you tips. I've never played drums in my life. I suck. But like playing something simple, just like play like a fucking Offspring song and just like jam the fun dumb stuff for a while.
I just think
probably be my first
getting creative at the base of it all. Like you get to a point where you're creative again, then it's attached to what you've already done. So then you can fall back into those other things if you really just it's keeping those connections. It's like
for sure
building a music brain and not trying not to get Alzheimer's, and lose the connections.
For now I'm gonna not really worry about trying to fucking play the fast crazy shit, you know what I mean?
Just have fun. Just like have fun again, play punk stuff or play something that like play a Korn song. It's like play stuff that's like easy.
The Shock Narcotic stuff, like it's not like super crazy anyway. Like okay, so it's not super crazy for me to play. It's not, it doesn't like fuck me up like it does to try and do Gutrot or shit like that, So so I mean if if that ends up fucking up for me, I guess I'll just like start playing something else.
Maybe
you'll try playing the fun stuff.
Co-host of Cali Death
Honestly,
podcast,
like if I end up like, and I'm sure I will at some point because like I can't not fucking do band stuff, but I really do want to like the next band that I do, I want it to be like some really fucking like metallic thrash punk hardcore crossover shit, dude. Like Leeway meets fucking Poison Idea meets fucking Stigmata, like you know,
yeah, totally,
like sick shit like that.
Hell yeah.
definitely. Well, again, man, I mean, I don't want to say pray, but whatever. I'll pray. I'm not a religious person, but I'm fucking hope you fucking get back on there and fucking it comes back to life. And I know that with things like Joel Haston, the guy he's a local booker. He had with us the palsy, the Bell's palsy, whereas this all of a sudden his face just went numb, and like one side of his face was numb, but it slowly kind of came back. You know, it's like one of these like brain things that like it slowly came back. He still has it a little bit, but like there's like a recovery. You know, there's no like explanation. There's nothing, but there's like sometimes people it just goes away one day. You know, and you know, through like acupuncture, I don't even know if that works, but like through things like that, like he's starting to make strides and like getting this stuff together, and that's what I'm hoping for you, brother.
Hell yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm definitely like open to try a bunch of different shit, you know. Like I have tried a bunch of different shit. It's been 14 years, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
It's been an issue. So it's like, you know.
Definitely.
Or no, I'm sorry. I'm a like dickard over here. It hasn't been that long. It's been like 9 or 10 years or something like that.
It's only been 9 or 10. It's only been a decade.
I'm mixing up my work. I've been like working for this place that long, and you know.
Yeah. That's still a long time, man. But you know, I mean, just have fun with it and see where it takes you, and hopefully it takes you in the direction of feeling back to yourself again. That'd be. I mean, if it doesn't, then whatever. Fucking
definitely
find something else. Yeah, there's
still
positives
have
everywhere.
All
that
you've done, and you'll still figure out something to get creative with, no matter what, dude. I believe that.
Exactly.
Yeah, big time.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, well, let's wrap this one up, boys. Again, thank you so much, Zach.
Thank you for having me.
Let's do them really fast, dude. It's
right,
battleforgecoffee.com, the homies and Deeds of Flesh. Go buy their coffee, support them. Support us at calideathpodcast.bigcartel.com. Shirts are available there. And yes, that is how you support us. Financially, at least. Tell your friends about us. That's how you support us for free.
Yeah, Chicago Domination's coming up.
Shit, we didn't say that on the top, dude. We'll do.
And also shout out to Adam. Adam hit me up for Vader. He's restarting Vader cabs and stuff, and we might have something down the pipe for Vader cabs. But that's like what Decrepit used, and you know, everyone used Vader back in the day. So shout out Adam. He texted me last night. They're getting back together. So
yeah, you might be hearing us talking about them later. And sorry, Miguel. We'll do some extra social media plugs for them this week, since we didn't do that at the top.
It's on my birthday. I wish I could fucking go. I didn't even plan that correctly. I didn't plan my birthday correctly. But end of July.
You did not plan your own birthday correctly.
Hey, when you get older, birthdays are kind of like fuck it.
They are kind of fuck it.
They're kind of like, it's a shit life.
Professor's flyer. Throw that up one more time. He was just in Tennessee, right? Because we just saw him with Cheney and Naveen.
He only has one more show after, so he has Evansville tomorrow, which today is when you're going to be hearing this, and then he is playing Oklahoma at 89th Street.
Okay, so yeah, we'll most likely have Professor back next week. That's cool. All right, dude. And Zach, again, you said what were the plugs you threw up in the top?
Oh, it was the
Shit Life
and Narcotic Big Cartel. Like however that fucking address goes. I never really had one of those for any of my other bands.
Yeah.
For the Shit Life music, I mean, like we do have merch, but like you would have to hit up Chris through the Instagram, which is like Shit Life Grind, like Instagram.com/shitlifegrind.
Okay.
I know we have like some shirts and a couple of CDs and shit like that left.
Dude.
But as far as digital goes, it's shitxlife.bandcamp.com.
Fuck yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right, guys.
Couple of those CDs, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
You want 2 CDs, dude?
I want all the CDs,
Two
dude.
CDs nuts. Sorry.
There's two like physical copies, like two different physical copies. The fucking Rain and Bud CD, and then the split we did with Noisy Neighbors. I know like there's like some of those left.
Yeah, Rain and Bud, dude. Such a sick fucking album name, dude.
Thanks, man.
Fuck yeah, good shit.
Oh yeah.
All right, love you, brother. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Always.
And we're not raiding anybody, are we? Is there anybody we're raiding?
I can't do it right now.
All right. Well,
I ready, but I can't.
Love all of you guys. Love all the people that we could have raided. Have a good.
I'm gonna do it. No, give me 2 seconds. I'll do it. I'll do Kevin Mueller.
I'm really excited to see Cynic and Atheist this weekend. I'm gonna be elbow to elbow with Joel. And
That's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, the Santa Cruz crew is gonna come out. I'm gonna drive down there for it. Drive back that same night for work the next day. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be like old times.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, dude. I'm really excited. So, and everybody
Rock
else,
on.
if you got something exciting going on this weekend, get it. Just have a good time. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.
All right, love you guys.